You made it to 300 episodes. Whoop-dee-fucking-do. I'm guessing you wanted some special hoorah introduction to celebrate your milestone. Well, guess what? I've been busy. I'm an adult, out adulting, with real-life adult responsibilities. Mouths to feed. Diapers full of diarrhea to clean off of my kid and my pants. I can't always just drop everything and customize your shit. Ass. That's why I'm recording this on a fucking cell phone. You know what? Call me again when you surpass The Voice, The Weakest Link, NCIS, ER, Mad TV, The Price is Right, The Amazing Race, or Dallas in your episode count. You haven't even come close to the Teletubbies. Teletubbies! You are still the Teletubbies, bitch, son. And congratulations, I guess. Teletubbies! And cut.
What's up, everyone? I'm Joe.
And I'm Kris.
And this is the SML Podcast, episode number 300.
And I am currently chewing to be as authentic as possible.
Because we're going old school. We're going to have some of our other friends joining the show later on, as well as a fantastic chat with Luke and Tom from Mediatonic talking about the game Fable Fortune. Kris, you can't make it for the actual 300th show, so
I know.
I wanted to set some time aside and make sure that I made you part of the show.
Well, I appreciate that. It was a last minute thing that I was unaware of, and yep, that's just the way the cookie crumbles now. Right?
Can I just put it out there that I hate your band?
It's okay. I don't blame you.
Like, this shit is getting stupid with them. It seems every time you make plans, they're like, no, we're going to completely fuck up everything that you're planning.
Yeah, it's impossible to, like, actually plan stuff doing this kind of stuff for work, so
it was like
I've just gotten used to it.
3 days before the recording.
Uh-huh. That's how it works.
I hate your band. They're dicks.
I know, it's out of my control.
Your band are buttholes.
But there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
And what light is that?
Playing for the band has afforded me the opportunity to be able to purchase myself a Switch.
Well, technically, you didn't purchase yourself a Switch.
Well, I mean, like, so you guys were the middlemen.
So, yes, over the course of this show, we've documented you getting an Xbox One, you getting a Wii U, and now we're going to document the fact that you're getting a Nintendo Switch.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited. I'm really excited. Like, this is the one that I'm probably the most excited for, just because of the nature of, like, how I've had to enjoy most of my gaming experiences nowadays because I travel so much. Like, I've been hardcore into mobile gaming a ton, just because that's what's available to me. And, like, just having this and being able to take it on the road is going to be the shit. Like, I'm really excited. So,
yeah, it's gonna be cool seeing you with a new system.
Yeah. Now I just got to figure out, like, so, because we're going old school, and most of the times I would just have, like, a random thing that I just wanted to talk about. What I want to talk to you about as a current Switch owner, and now as a soon-to-be Switch owner, what are the primary, like, you need these things as a Switch owner for you having it for a little while now, and what are the things that you're like, you probably don't need that? Like, what are your, like, main things?
Screen protector.
Okay, fair enough.
First thing, you want a screen protector. That's
fair enough.
Has a touch screen. Fucker will get scuffed up and scratched. So yes, that is definitely the most important thing right off the bat. Up to you if you want to go with like a flimsy plastic one, or if you want to go with like the tempered glass, whatever you want to do.
I was gonna say, what do you have on yours?
I just have like a cheapo plastic one because I don't really plan on traveling with it much, but with you moving around, it might be better to go with the tempered glass.
I might end up doing that. That's what I have on my phone, and technically, like, I have one on my phone currently that is cracked, but it is still, like, it's just one crack going down the middle of it.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna, like, let it do its thing for a little while longer. Because it's not annoying enough for me to be like, yo, I need to replace this, like, right now. So, and I feel like they're pretty durable. They look a lot cleaner. You still want to be able to see the screen really well. So I might end up going that route. I figured I'm going to wait until I come up and actually, because here's the other caveat of me picking up my Switch. I didn't actually physically get it. Joe actually picked it up for me. Indeed.
I was, you mentioned that you've been on the lookout for one. You're like, do you know anywhere that has a Switch? I'm like, yeah, everywhere had it last Friday for Splatoon. Like, everyone was saving theirs for Splatoon. And I mentioned that I was going to Best Buy, so I figured I would check, and I went, and they had one left.
Yep. And specifically, like, my whole thing was, I saw a couple of them down here, but they were all the ones with the different colored, what do you call them?
The Joy-Con?
Like, Joy-Cons.
Oh, you don't want the neon?
No, I just want the black one. Like, I mean, you know me. I just want whatever the gray, flat, black, boring, like, plain version is.
I mean, you can always go all out and drop an extra $80 and try tracking down the neon yellow Splatoon,
the yellow ones,
or
fuck that, man.
The ARMS ones. That's what they were for.
Screw that. I'll just, because here's my thing. I feel like I'm gonna want a Pro controller, so that's gonna negate like how gimmicky the Joy-Con things are gonna be. And then down the road, when I really do want to pick up other ones, they'll probably have some sort of like how they did with the nunchucks, where they've got the Mario and Luigi. Like, they'll have some really funky version ones that maybe I'll be more interested in.
They might.
You know?
They might. Yeah, I was going to say another good thing to pick up, depending on how you're going to be playing it, would be a Pro controller. I mainly have that for when it's docked. Because otherwise, if you have it docked to your TV or to your monitor or whatever you're doing, whenever you want to play something, you're going to have to pop the Joy-Cons off the side and then attach them to like the Joy-Con grip or a chargeable grip or whatever. And if you have the Pro controller, you don't have to worry about fucking around with that. You just leave them on and play with the Pro controller.
Yeah, that was my main thing. I think that's the way that I'm probably going to want to use it. I don't even know how much I'm really going to dock it. like I'm kind of thinking of it almost like a much more powerful, badass version of like a Vita.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like this is what the Vita wanted to be.
Yeah, sort of. Like at least that's my mindset going into it. This is 100% a travel thing, and hey, like once in a while, like when people are around and everybody wants to play some Mario Kart or something like that, like I'll bust it out. But aside from that, it's going to be my Zelda machine and my mobile Rocket League training.
Well, Rocket League's not out for a few more months. So you'll have time on that.
I figured if I pick it up now, that gives me time to get through Zelda. That gives me time to pick up. I already know that I'm gonna get Binding of Isaac, maybe Shovel Knight. I don't know what else actually.
Fucking Mario Kart.
Mario Kart, yeah.
Need the Mario Karts.
I think that's like my top. Those are my top things. I don't know, like what other games would you say are like really, really good for the Switch?
I think ARMS was pretty fun, and then Splatoon 2 just came out. So those are two to keep in mind.
Now, how does the did they announce like how the online is working yet, or what? Like,
yeah, we talked about this. I think 2 episodes ago, something like that. They released a mobile app for iOS and Android, like the Nintendo Switch app.
And it's like not that good, right?
It is fucking awful. Like everyone had low expectations for it, and it still somehow blew away our already low expectations. All kinds of matchmaking and stuff is done through the app. So like if you want to create a lobby, you have to do it on your fucking phone.
That's weird.
Sending game invites done on your fucking phone. All voice chat is done on your fucking phone. And even better, you didn't hear the good part, Chris. When you're talking to someone on the mobile app, you need to leave the program open. Because if you like go to your home menu or you switch programs,
you lose the connection?
Yes.
Oh, that's such garbage.
But that's not all, Chris. You need to leave your screen on. Because if your phone goes to sleep, it kills the connection.
So they basically just want you to have your phone plugged in next to you as an accessory to your console.
Yeah. Like, this is a word I try to avoid using because of the whole PC world that we're in. But it's fucking retarded, man.
Dude, yeah, that's...
Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, this is, special needs. It is a special needs voice chat application. There's no other way to put it. It's not stupid. It is far beyond stupid. It has many various disabilities and requires special work for anybody to really understand what's going on beneath the surface of it. I mean, clearly there's good beneath it. There's good beneath everybody. But something like it got dropped or something. I don't know how.
Dude, you know what
bad.
though?
It is so bad. It is so fucking bad.
Do you think it will improve over time?
No.
Because didn't they have something set up with like even their Pokemon Go? I know that's not technically Nintendo and it's Niantic, but still, didn't they have problems with like, it had to be on at all the times when it, when you were trying to use it, and then they switched it so that it would have a mode that at least didn't drain your battery as much? Like, I mean, like, they've got to do something? Question mark.
I don't know, man. It is jacked up.
In the very least bit, I'm still going to be able to play Rocket League. And I'm still going to be able to play Zelda. You
just can't voice chat with anyone.
Well, I'll try it once in a while, and if it doesn't work, then so what? Then I'll sit back and play my games by myself.
I've already said that, I might end up dropping the $20 to pay for the online whenever it kicks off. It was supposed to be this holiday, but it is now sometime in 2018 that the paid service is going to start.
Okay.
Until then, all kind of online play is going to be free. Voice chat is going to be restricted to the app. So I'll eventually drop the $20 a year for their online service.
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
There's no fucking way I'm going to use their stupid ass bullshit chat app on a fucking phone.
Yeah,
to talk to someone. No.
The only way that I would be that desperate to do that is if it was specifically like, something like Splatoon, and it had to be done like as a group, and you had to like, if we were just casually playing Mario Kart or something like that, nah, sorry. Like, yeah. I'm not joining voice chat through that bullshit. Like,
I think when Norg was on the last episode, because we were chatting about Switch stuff, Norg's been covering some Switch games for us.
Cool.
And we brought up the whole online chat app, and he's like, yeah, the people I know who like picked up Splatoon and they want to voice chat, they're just jumping right to Discord and right to Skype.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm down for that too. I mean, at least like I could sit at my computer and play from the Switch and just have the chat open, no problem. Like that's.
Yeah. I'll start an Xbox party.
Yeah.
We'll just chat on there.
Hey, you know what? Whatever works. I mean,
pretty much. Yeah,
I've been noticing even just the past couple days, like, so the new the new Diablo season started on PC, and it's been tracking when I play Diablo through the Xbox app, even when I'm playing on PC.
Yep.
I didn't know it did that.
Yeah, pretty neat, huh?
It's interesting.
I
thought
know,
like I didn't know that they crosstalk just because of the Blizzard app and all that stuff, since it's not technically through. You know what I mean? Like
it's just how they're doing stuff with Windows 10 and the Xbox app on there. It just tracks a lot of non-Xbox games, just so if a friend is playing something on Windows 10, and you could message your friend and it'll just pop up, on the little pop-up message on Windows 10, and your friend could see it because it recognizes that you're alive on the system, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, you exist. There's somebody else out there that's trying to get a hold of you.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what other good stuff Switch stuff there is for you. Clearly Zelda. We've gone over that. Everybody needs
that's a
to own
no-brainer.
that.
Like I'm just
are you an XCOM fan?
I never actually tried it, and that's why I'm assuming you're talking about that Rabbids game that's coming out soon.
Yep, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle comes out at the end of August.
It looks neat. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting to say the least. I'm really, really excited for Odyssey and some of the other stuff that's coming out later on in the year. But even the Kirby game looks awesome. Like I'm so pumped to have this system. Like
now you just need to come get it.
I know. I'm gonna come up. I'll grab it.
I'm just gonna let the cat sleep on the box until you show up.
I am thinking so. Do you have a travel case, or do you have a bag for what do you? Well, I mean, you said you don't really travel much, but
yeah, I don't really take it anywhere. But I do have a case for it, and mainly because it came with the Legend of Zelda Master Edition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know they sell cases out there that I'm sure you could get for $20 or something.
I think the one guy, when I went to a GameStop, he had a backpack or something that was specifically had compartments for every little thing. And it actually looked kind of nice. It was a canvas bag, and it was $40 or something, $40 or $50. So I don't know. I'm kind of overdue to swap out my backpack anyway, because mine's kind of falling apart. So
there you go.
May just I may pull the trigger on something like that. We'll see.
There you go.
Because so what's the storage on it out of the box?
32 gig.
Okay, that'll serve me decent for a little while. How SD cards, micro SD cards?
Micro SD. Actually, let me grab my system. Talk for 2 minutes so I could grab it.
Okay. Well, now we're being really authentic to how things used to be. You go ahead and just kill some time while the other person goes off and does something that you can't even really describe to the listeners. I'm sure he'll be back any moment. Any moment now.
Okay, clearly it wasn't 2 minutes. But I just want to pick mine so I could let you know all the stuff I have installed on mine.
Okay.
Just so because people might think 32 gig is really small, but
I was kind of thinking that
let's see. I'll try to ignore the stuff that I have on cartridge, because clearly that doesn't take up a lot of space. But Mighty Gunvolt Burst is 31 meg.
I mean, the big ones that I'm going to be interested in file size are going to be Zelda, Mario Kart, and then maybe Binding of Isaac.
Well, I know Zelda, if you get it on the cartridge, it doesn't take up too much space because, it's on the cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
I have it on the cartridge, and with the DLC and the install and whatever else, it's 433 meg.
Okay.
Yeah,
Digitally, it would probably
clearly, if you get it
massive.
digital, it'll be bigger. Mario Kart 8, because I have it digital, that's 6.8 gig.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I have.
But then again, I think I would probably do Mario Kart digital and Zelda physical, so that's probably how mine would be distributed as well.
Yeah, and then you could just pop in a micro SD card and expand it.
How big does it accept up to, I guess?
It supports up to the presently non-existent 2 terabyte micro SD cards.
Okay, so I don't have to worry about that then. It'd just be a matter of just getting a card and how much the card would cost.
Yeah.
And
then don't forget.
What about like charging? Like how does this thing charge?
USB-C. So there's a good chance that your phone already has the same port.
Not currently, but the phones that I've been looking at have.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, USB-C. They don't have any kind of fucked up, unique, proprietary bullshit like the 3DS has had.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's the battery life like on this thing?
It depends on what you're playing. I'd say on average you could get like 3 or 4 hours on it.
Okay. That's not too bad. I mean, that's the majority of a ride for me, at least one way. Something like, for some of the longer ones.
Yeah. I mean, clearly if you're doing stuff online or if you have the brightness all the way up, it's going to cut down on things. More graphically intensive games are going to use the processor power a bit more, but on average you could get 3 to 4 hours, I'd say.
Okay. Maybe I'll finally give Skyrim a shot. Maybe.
Yeah, when that comes out, that should be later on this holiday sometime.
Because you want to talk about something I could dump some time into. Dude.
Oh, God.
They just give me Diablo. If they it's Diablo on the Switch, and I would be in heaven. I would be in heaven.
Dude, I would never hear from you again. Like, ever. You
know what? I would become like a mountain man. Like, I would just start, I would start traveling the world. Like, what kind of different places can I play Diablo in? It's not even
just your Switch and a drum kit.
It's not. It becomes like a Travel Channel show, but it's not even about the places that I'm traveling to. It's just the fact that I want to play Diablo there.
If only G4 was still around.
They're taking camera shots of like over the shoulder of me just playing, and they're looking at the gameplay of the Switch, not even like where I'm at.
You're like sitting at Machu Picchu or like Stonehenge.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the camera's panning around showing all the scenic vistas, and you're just sitting there playing Diablo. You fucking goddamn treasure goblin. I hear you. I fucking hear you.
Dude, like that's my dream. I feel like that would be an entertaining show for some people.
I'm sure it would.
Yeah. People are into a lot of weird stuff, so like it's, somebody would enjoy it.
Diablo around the world.
Yep.
Then they could have you like on a cow farm, and you're playing the cow level.
Yep. And then it's literally, I'll have it hooked up to like a surround sound speaker, just moo 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 moo, and just like surrounded by them. Just like, what? It wasn't me.
That'd be amazing. Oh my lord, that'd be amazing and stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're a fan of Binding of Isaac, you might want to look into Cave Story as well.
Cave Story. Oh, you know what? Because I was going to mention too that I've been playing a lot of mobile games. You should check out. There's one game. I guess it started over in Korea or something like that, and it just got ported over to the app stores in the States. But it's called Rogue Life.
I'll have to look that up.
It is. It's an RPG shooter.
Interesting.
So think something along the lines of like a bullet hell-esque type of thing, but you're leveling up characters, and the characters are attacking as if they're like ships in like a Space Invaders-esque type of thing, but you're just getting waves of enemies. Like you're going down a straight path, and there's waves of enemies coming at it. Dude, it's actually like really, really cool. And even just like the crafting systems in it are like really, really complex and interesting. It's like, dude, just personally from me to you, you should check it out. My I guess it's guild name. I think that's what they call it. My guild name is SML Podcast.
Nice.
Just to try and, spread the love a little bit.
Even with you gone from the show, you're still doing your best to rep the show. Still
doing it. Here and there.
I'm trying to think what other good recommendations you can have. I'm at the point where I just pulled up the store and I'm looking through the games.
Okay.
Shovel Knight, Treasure Trove. You mentioned you want to pick that up. Breath of the Wild. We mentioned the Neo Geo games. I'm trying to see which ones they have there, if they have any like shmups for you. I'm seeing a bunch of fighting games. Shock Troopers was cool. Nam 1975 was good. Metal Slug 3, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be down for some Metal Slug, actually.
Binding of Isaac Afterbirth that you want. The original Metal Slug, Lego City Undercover.
I would consider it, actually.
Alpha Mission 2, there's an older shmup for you. It's clearly not the best around, but it's a shmup for you.
It's a shmup.
Some good digital games. Mr. Shifty from Tiny Build was really cool. They have Jackbox Party Pack 3 is on there. So if you have friends to play with, you could do that.
I think I have that on Steam already.
Blazing Stars, a side-scrolling shmup from the Neo Geo lineup. You could grab that. NBA Playgrounds.
I would consider that, actually. That's pretty much NBA Jam, right?
Yeah. Minecraft is on there now.
Oh, that's right. I'm absolutely getting Minecraft. That's the other big one. So it's gonna be Zelda, Minecraft, then Mario Kart, then Binding of Isaac, then Shovel Knight.
There's a hell of a lot of games on there. Shantae's on there. Street Fighter 2 is on, or Ultra Street Fighter 2. If you feel like dropping $40 on a 25-year-old game.
Well, I'm one of those idiots that would consider it, so.
Neo Geo Last Resort is another side-scrolling shmup.
Oh, okay.
There's a pretty big lineup of Neo Geo games on there. Magical Drop 2 if you're looking for a puzzler. Metal Slug 2 is on there. So Metal Slug 1, 2, and 3 is all on there. Good stuff.
I definitely enjoyed the Metal Slug games, so I'll probably grab at least one or two.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff on there. And I enjoy those Neo Geo games. I'm happy every time we get to cover one on the show.
They're good stuff.
I'll have to keep you in mind if we get any Switch ones.
Dude, absolutely. Because I'm like, that's another reason why I really wanted to pick one up too, is because I feel like I'm going to end up using this as like one of my primary things to get my gaming in, just because of how often I'm just not around the house. It's just going to be way more convenient. So
yeah, that's your adventures with the Switch and your dreams to hopefully get, or not hopefully get one, but eventually get it.
Yeah, now I just
and what you're hopefully going to do with it.
I know. I'm excited. I'm pumped. And even honestly, just because once they do figure out the online stuff, at least if I'm constantly traveling all over the place, I'd like to be able to still be able to play some games with you once in a while.
True. Yeah, as long as I guess tether it to your phone.
Yeah, I actually just signed up for unlimited data, so
nice.
With those exact intentions.
Well, we could get our Mario Kart on.
Yep. I really want to test it and see what the connection is going to be like.
Well, when you're up here, set up your phone and
we'll give it a shot.
Give it a go, and we'll test it out. And you tether to your phone, and I'll just stick to my Wi-Fi, and we'll just play in the house against each other.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll go great.
Oh, easily. It'll go perfectly.
as much as I was considering, like, you know, I had that version of Mario Kart on the Wii U, but the differences between that and the Switch versions, just with the battle modes and everything else they added in, like, I think I'm going to like it a lot. I was reluctant to have to buy it again, but...
Yeah, but now it's everything in one. And while you're here, if you get it while you're here, if you, like, grab the digital version or something and you just download it while you're here, you can use all my amiibo and just unlock all the Mii costumes in the game.
That would be perfect.
You can get all of them except the Splatoon one because I don't have any Splatoon amiibo.
Well, that's perfectly fine because I don't think I would really want any of them. Dude, I didn't even play the first one. That's why I'm interested in the new one too.
Yeah.
So, and dude, I'm just there's gonna be so many games that I technically like skipped over. Then I know I'm finally going to be able to give a fair chance now.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, man. But anyway, we have a shitload of stuff to take care of on this show, and as much as I would love to spend another hour just chatting with you on this, you can't make the rest of the show, so I got to get rid of you.
Hey, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to try and hop on some more episodes coming up, so...
Hope so. We miss having you on here. I know you were planning on being on this show, the whole thing, but fucking benders, man.
Hey, man.
Sons of bitches.
I'm getting used to it now.
I hate your band, man. I hate your band. I wish you never would have joined them and you would have just stayed here at this point.
Well, my bank account appreciates the move. You know what I mean?
But we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna play one of your songs, Kris.
Oh, you don't have to do that.
Well, tough shit. I said it on the show, so I guess it's gonna happen now.
Oh, okay.
So, any final words?
I can't wait to grab my Switch.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking around. We're going to have a lot more to come later on this show, but for right now, it's the normal episode part of the show. And joining me as usual, CJ. CJ, how you doing?
If I could make a gun noise, I would.
Why? You're here for 300.
I haven't eaten. I can't eat.
Why? Why can't you? Get something and munch.
Because I don't do that on the show. I'm professional, damn it, Joe.
Why?
I will starve to death.
Also joining for the occasion is Cole Martin. Cole, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking.
You're
Some
here
of
for
you
number.
may wonder why she's here.
You're here for number 300. Yeah, why are you here? Because we're going to talk about games later. That's why you're here.
I'm here because I'm fucking awesome. Hello.
Indeed. You're here because if CJ keeps declining games to review, you're going to take his spot.
Good luck, Eternal.
I'm your
You're gonna
replacement
need
bitch now.
I also noticed that CJ didn't reply to the last game I offered if he was interested in.
Oh, well, I was at work. I
No
just got
reply.
home.
No reply. Nothing.
I
Just
haven't read
ignored.
it either. I was at
Like,
work,
this
thank
is
you.
2017. Nobody has ever not read a message. Like, you see that shit, you just choose not to respond to it.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
How hard is it to just be
I
like,
was at
oh.
work.
They've
And-
even
I
got
could
the
just
phone
take
where
my
the
phone out.
message shows up on the side of it now. Even if you put that shit face down, you can still see what's coming across there. This is the future.
And my
No,
message
my
is
phone's not like
literally the word interested, question mark, and then a link to a game. How fucking hard is it to click?
I was at work. How am I supposed to fucking click it at work?
You and your excuses.
Mm-hmm.
Chris didn't have any excuses when he was on for the previous half hour.
That's great for Chris. But where's his excuse now? Where is he here right now?
He's a musician, and he's technically not a co-host anymore.
Co-host, schmo-host.
Yeah.
Also, no.
No to what?
I'm
The
just-
game?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not interested?
Nah.
You
I'm going
know.
to keep turning down every single game until you eventually fire me. Joking. Of course.
Getting close. We're getting close.
I mean, I'm getting another one.
Nah, you're not going to be interested in either. You're not good at strategy shit.
Probably not. Anyway, we got a bunch of news to go through, bunch of news, bunch of reviews, and then again, our Fable Fortune interview is going to be later on in the show. Really awesome chat there, but fun week of news for gamers, huh?
Yeah.
The resounding applause is new backward compatible games, new games with gold lineup, new PlayStation Plus lineup, new Game Pass lineup. There just a shit ton of news hit this week.
Which is nice because it's episode 300. This
Into
could be
300. We had a new theme song to kick off the show.
Holy.
You guys love that, didn't you? Everyone heard that. That was amazing.
That was fantastic.
It's so
I don't even
good.
know if I heard the one for 200.
This is only the fifth theme song we've had in 300 shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
Only
pretty
5.
impressive record.
Only 5. And thank you to Sean Stone, also known as Ale Sean, for giving us a new theme song. Fun trivia fact for those who don't care at all. The lead guitar part in the new theme song is the same exact guitar part from the original theme. Because
I
he
didn't
did
think I've heard
that
the original.
too. Good
That's
stuff.
awesome.
And it looks like everybody's stream is going to shit in the chat.
Alice
so
Mixer.
good stuff.
What's this do?
Good stuff. Great to have for episode 300. Technical issues just abound. So, yeah, let's kick off with the news. We'll kick things off. Games with gold for August were announced. I think it's a pretty solid lineup overall.
Yeah. It is.
I think I'm the only person that's legitimately excited for Slime Rancher because I've wanted it for a long time.
Okay. Wait. He didn't announce them yet.
You're
need
jumping
wait.
to the discussion
done.
before we even mention the games. So, yeah, as Cole just said, the Xbox One for the entire month of August, you could get the game Slime Rancher for free, which is pretty awesome. And then
I'm so
August,
excited I couldn't wait.
yeah, you're so excited you had to just ruin it for us. How dare you? No.
I was just channeling my inner CJ.
CJ making freaking votes and stuff.
Yeah, I made a poll in the chat.
I can't see it. I'm locked in the bathroom.
This is a train wreck. But
Yep.
August 16th through September 15th, Trials Fusion. So Trials fans should be pretty happy.
My favorite game of all time. And also to go back to what Eternal said earlier, no, I'm extremely excited for Slime Rancher. I wanted to buy it when it was in game preview, so I'm very happy that it's...
I've got to be honest, though. I know absolutely nothing about it. I don't know how it plays. I couldn't even tell you what genre it is. I just know that every time I see the box art for it, I'm like, I need that.
It's a hardcore FPS platformer. No, I'm joking. It's not that.
I would actually be pretty happy with that.
It's a pretty cool game. I know we talked about it on the show previously. Really fun stuff. So it's pretty cool that that's going to be a freebie as it officially launches out of game preview.
Great birthday present for me.
When's your birthday?
August 13th.
Oh, wow. I'll make sure to forget.
Thanks. At least it's not on a Thursday, so I don't have to do this on my birthday.
So true.
It's Sunday.
And then on Xbox 360, 2 more really good games. August 1st through the 15th is Bayonetta, which is just awesome game. And
pretty damn good.
The 16th through the 31st, Red Faction Armageddon, which... good game. I kind of wish it was Red Faction Guerrilla, because that one's a hell of a lot better.
Guerrilla was already a game with gold in the past.
Was it?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Be damned.
Armageddon hasn't been, and I'm happy because Armageddon's backwards compatible, and I love it.
Yeah, that leads to some of the other news of the week, backward compatibility editions, because before Tuesday, Red Faction Armageddon was not a backward compatible title, and now it is. Yay!
Yay.
Also on Tuesday was the Konami old school arcade game Gyrus, and then Bullet Hell Shmup Raiden 4. So solid lineup there. And then Thursday, Tomb Raider Underworld was added. So that's pretty neat.
I'm pretty happy about that one. I need to go back to it. I have one achievement, and I think it was one of the first games I started. It still shows as I started it offline.
So 3 retail games and Gyrus. Because
that's not bad.
Gyrus. But and then on the flip side, PlayStation Plus announced their lineup as well, and it's another really solid lineup. The PS3 is kind of meh, with Super Motherload and Snake Ball. Snake Ball, in fact, being such an old PS3 game, it was before trophies existed.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah. So
I find it so funny that initially they didn't have trophies.
Well, no one really expected achievements to take off like they did.
That's true, I suppose.
I'm still shocked that Nintendo hasn't done an achievement system yet.
Probably because nobody cares about getting achievements on there. They just want to play the games for fun.
Nopal saying that this is his last month of PS Plus. I think this is actually a decent month for them. The PlayStation Vita has Level 22, which we reviewed the Xbox version on this show in the past. Really cool game. And Downwell, which is also cross-buy with the PS4. So that's neat. And then the PS4 gets Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, which a lot of people are like, what the hell's this game? I never heard of it. It's actually one of the Assassin's Creed 4 DLCs released as a separate game.
Yeah, I always found that weird because that was the case on Steam, is that I think it was available as both a DLC and a standalone.
Yeah. And then,
weird.
Rock on. It's cool. More people get to play it. And then probably the biggest one, Just Cause 3.
I am a little bit jealous of that. I do want that game. But now it's like you can get the XL version on sale for a lot cheaper than you can ever get the season pass because they don't put that on sale. So
true.
Mm-hmm.
You're still going to wind up spending an arm and a leg.
And at least the people who have a PS4 Pro, apparently the game runs significantly better on the Pro. So,
well, I'd imagine it didn't really run that well on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One when it launched.
I'm excited to see how well it performs on the X when that releases.
Yeah, that's probably when I'll finally jump on it and get the XL version.
If it performs,
I actually it recently. I just haven't played it yet. I actually won Just Cause 3 recently and haven't played it yet.
Really? Where'd you win it?
There was a Twitter giveaway, and I actually won Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And when the guy sent me the code, he sent Just Cause 3, and I was like, I messaged him back. I was like, oh, you sent me the wrong one, but don't worry, I didn't redeem it. It's still good. You can just keep it. And he's like, well, that was for the next giveaway, and since you were honest about it, you can keep it too.
Oh, wow.
So he sent me Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Just Cause 3.
Damn, look at you.
So cleaning up all the codes just like normal.
Speaking of giveaways, I think it's time to just, give away a game,
pull a name out of a hat? Let's just pull a name out of a hat.
3, 2, 1. Who is going to win a game? Eternal Rage.
No, she just talked about winning too. No, fuck that. Get
Eternal Rage? What?
You don't earn it. What the fuck is this shit?
I don't know if you want this prize, though, because it's a starter pack for Gigantic.
Oh!
That's hilarious.
You can draw somebody else, or give me something else.
So
I'll probably draw me again.
Do you want me to redraw, or do you want me to just drop it in the chat?
Yeah, redraw. Let's
redraw?
Be fair.
Redraw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please don't pick me.
That'll be hilarious if it just picks Eternal again. Okay. Johnny Darkfang, good job. Shoot me an email, the SML Podcast at Gmail, and I'll send you the starter pack for Gigantic on Xbox One.
Congrats.
So enjoy that, Johnny Darkfang, and thanks for hanging out in the chat. So you can get yourself a game. Get yourself a game.
And remember, you could have been here and won it too if you follow us on Mixer and watch us live at 9 p.m. or 10:30 p.m. on Thursday nights, depending on what goes on.
What comes with the starter pack? I believe it's 8 of the characters are included in there, as well as some like in-game currency stuff. So
yeah, I think it gives you some rubies and the crowns that you can earn too.
Indeed, good stuff. Good stuff. But speaking of other good stuff, we do have a little bit more news to talk about. We mentioned Xbox Game Pass that is getting another batch of games added to it for August. From the Xbox 360, they're adding Metal Slug XX, which is pretty cool. And I don't know if it's the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One version, but Limbo is getting added as well.
It's the Xbox One version.
The one version, yeah.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that confirmed?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They released an image that shows the all the games, and Limbo has the Xbox One tag on it.
I thought that it showed the Xbox One tag for Metal Slug as well, but that's a 360
Metal Slug
game.
Is still the 360, at least according to this image.
No, okay, then it's the Xbox One version of Limbo. There you go. And then on the actual Xbox One games, they're adding Ultratron, So Many Me, Pharaonic, Dirt Rally, and Dead Rising 3.
Yeah. I mean, Dirt Rally is really the only one that shines out. I would like to try Ultratron.
One of my favorite platformers. It was Games of Gold, though, so a lot of people already have it. But
that's the only reason that doesn't pique my interest at all. Is pretty much everybody that wanted it already has it.
Well, do you think there's people, surprisingly, there's people every month who get, an Xbox and have missed out on all the past Games with Gold.
There's some people that are smart enough, though, to get at least if they have the 360, just go on the website and get the Xbox One games if they have Gold.
But then there's a lot of people who've never owned an Xbox at all.
Didn't know they could do that. Yeah.
There might be people who are jumping ship from Sony and coming over to Xbox. Or there might be people who've only been Nintendo people and they're picking up an Xbox. So, hey, throw more the more games in Game Pass, the better, because there are people out there. It's $10 a month. You're very clearly going to get some use out of it.
Even when it's funny because I load up Game Pass and I see owned under all these different titles, which is nice. But still, even for all the ones that I own, there's still a ton that I don't. And for $10 a month. Can't
I still pay for it, but
yeah,
I haven't used it at all.
It's really hard to be like,
which is disappointing.
It's really hard to be like, oh, it's not a good deal, because it really is. Even Even if the games added to it have been games with gold in the past or are already, being chalked on steep ass discounts, still there's people that, miss those sales, or they're new to Xbox, or if I were buying an Xbox for Christmas for my kid and I wasn't a gamer and I had no idea what the fuck I was looking at, and I saw that $10 price tag and all those games, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Now you don't have to buy your kid any games. It's an automatic game system for them.
Yeah, between EA Access and Game Pass, it's so easy to get a massive Xbox library for dirt cheap.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. And the best part is you get to fucking download them and you don't have to stream shit. So yay for that. Speaking of shit that you have to stream, an image surfaced on Reddit of a screenshot from someone who was attempting to use PlayStation Now, where it said, and this is in quotes, "Your turn is coming up. You can play a non-streaming game or watch videos while you queue in the background. You will be notified when it's your turn to play." And it showed that they were the 43rd person in line to play a game.
Oh my god, so you actually have to fucking wait to stream it too?
They have lines. I mean, to Sony's credit, with 43 people, it said it was a 4-minute wait time, which is nothing huge. But you shouldn't need to wait in line to play a fucking game for a service that you're paying for.
That's really awful and
that
sad.
Would be like firing up Netflix, going to watch the newest episode of, I don't know, Orange is the New Black or whatever, and you go to hit start and it says, "Your turn is coming up. Please wait." No. I paid for your service to play a game or to watch, in Netflix case, watch a movie. Let me do what I'm paying for.
Yeah.
And fuck that. I hated the whole concept of PlayStation Now with streaming only to begin with. And now that they have lines for in-demand games, hell no.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Hell no. Fuck all of that. Nothing else? No? Nothing from Eternal?
I'm stunned and silent. Like, the only thing I can think about it is you.
I'm trying to leave spaces for conversation, and it's just silence. You guys are terrible at this. I guess it's because it was an Xbox news. So let's go back to the Xbox news. It was announced earlier this week that The Sims 4 is coming to Xbox One in November.
Yes.
It was eventually confirmed. It was eventually confirmed that a PS4 release is coming as well. It's going to release November 17th for $49.99. There is also going to be a deluxe edition for $59.99 that includes Life of the Party, Up All Night, and Animal Hats packs, as well as 3-day early release. And if you pre-order, go ahead.
That deluxe edition, definitely worth it considering all those packs are like $10 alone.
Yeah. But if you pre-order, you get the perfect patio stuff, which includes motherfucking hot tubs.
Yeah, I might have to get my hands on that one.
So,
I'm sorry, after The Sims releases, you're going to be like, can you do a review? Nope, sorry, my sim needs me.
Maybe we'll get lucky enough to get 4 codes for The Sims.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. All those EA games that we cover on the show, huh?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on Johnny Darkfang to email me. I'm just sitting on this code waiting. And then they confirm that the console version will include the base game plus many of the content add-ons. No idea what or how much, but at least it's more than just the base.
It's the $49 price tag.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good deal.
Yeah, it might sound high in theory because there's not a huge amount to the game, but the amount of replayability it has is amazing.
Indeed. And then
you're going to be playing that game for hundreds of hours anyway.
Last bit of news I have is that Killing Floor 2, which we saw in an Xbox One trailer at E3, has finally been announced for Xbox One. It's only been a few months, but it's releasing August 29th for $40. Includes all the previously released content. including the Tropical Bash, the Descent, and the Summerside Show, includes timed exclusive new weapon, the Freeze Thrower, which is like basically a flamethrower, but with liquid nitrogen, which is pretty badass.
Yeah, that's cool.
And some Wasteland armor uniform with 5 styles. And then they're including customized mixer support, which is pretty neat.
Huh. Yeah, I'm actually not familiar with the Killing Floor. Like, I'm assuming it's an arena deathmatch type game, but I know absolutely nothing about it. Is it not?
It's a zombie survival game.
Is it?
Yeah, it's zombie wave shooter. Think Left 4 Dead, but instead of trying to get through an area, you're just trying to fend off waves of enemies. But it's 4-player online co-op.
The first one was pretty damn fun, and you can beat it. Like, it's not like you just keep going until
not endless. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can set it to be endless, but the normal way there is an end to it. Like, there's a boss, so
no,
it's pretty damn cool.
I'm intrigued.
I'm more intrigued. Damn it!
I'm waiting on Johnny Darkfang to message me, and he still hasn't. So I'm thinking I'm just going to kill the chat and just send him the code. We'll just go an episode without the chat on the screen, since
that might be smart.
Dude can't fucking email me. Whisper V there. It's not in the stream. It's just there. So let me see if I can rearrange some of this shit and get rid of some of the black space. No, I can't. I don't know how. Whatever.
Who cares? It wouldn't be SML if everything worked correctly.
True. Oh well. What are you gonna do? What you gonna do? Oh man. So yeah, that's all the news I got. Any news y'alls wanted to talk about, as Eternal would say?
Yeah, no, I don't really see anything worth mentioning.
Nothing at all.
I mean, no, not really. There's really not a whole lot of news this week.
I mean, there was a lot of news.
I mean, but there's a lot of, it was all the big, like, free.
Yeah, good stuff. So, 300 episodes of this shit. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
A little bit.
I wonder if there's anybody out there that's seen every episode aside from you, Joe.
God, I hope not. I would feel so bad if they sat through every episode of this fucking show. It's so bad. I hate the host.
Same. I also hate the co-hosts. And you know what? The only good part is actually kind of the music. That's about it.
No, the guests are pretty good.
I don't know. I kind of like the squeaky guest with the weird accent. Yeah, she's my favorite.
Which one is that?
That ginger-haired bitch. I don't remember her name.
Good stuff.
Isn't that cool?
Oh man, so are we just jumping on to reviews then? If no one has anything to talk about?
Short. I mean, we could talk about how you're doing. I'm stressed. There's so much shit with, like, this show is just getting busier and busier and busier, and I'm lucky to have so many people who are, you know, excited to work with the show and do reviews for the show. We're getting new people writing in reviews for us. We have a brand new reviewer writing in something today, actually. Oh my god.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Cool. Expanding the SML family.
We have Greg Middleton, who's been doing some reviews. He's been doing some PlayStation stuff for us. Purnell's been doing stuff. Chris Taylor's always on. Tom Miller. My friend Ian, who we call Jesus, who's been on the show a few times. He's actually tackling 2 games for us. So, and then of course, you idiots.
Oh, I got 2 games this episode too.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
No, do I have 2? Wait.
Yeah, you do.
I think I got 2. Yeah.
You do, but the one is kind of like a big group review thing. It's good stuff, though. Carnage is hearing the same part of the show over and over.
Randomly.
It's Groundhog. Well, actually, we've just been saying the same thing over and over again. It's not actually Groundhog Day.
Why is it like when we do important stuff that Mixer decides to just shit out on us?
Because Mixer fucking sucks ass. Like, it's a cool network that allows us to get more views because there's less people and less competition. But the actual streaming service itself sucks.
It's like it got worse when they changed the name, and I don't get it.
It did too. I think it's gotten even worse, and I hated it.
I don't understand. I don't understand at all. It doesn't make sense.
Pains. Give it some ibuprofen. Check on it in the morning.
True. Oh, man. I think I'm going to do another giveaway for the people hanging out in the chit-chats. We have a copy of Demetrios, The Big Cynical Adventure. It's not out yet, and we got the okay to do some giveaways for it. So someone out in the chat is going to win a copy. And it was Johnny Darkfang again.
Wow. I was secretly hoping it'd be me for that one. I did want the game, I just didn't have the time.
Well, looks like he just got himself another game.
There.
I hope so too.
10 minutes to reply or we redraw.
Otherwise you're just like shooting codes at somebody who's not even there and they're just filtering into the wind.
I bet he has like a fucking hack system set up to only draw his name from now on.
I mean, there's only a handful of people in the chat.
Yes, there's 8 people watching, and that includes me, you, and Eternal.
Oh my lord! I wonder if just the random code drops would be better.
No, because then I can't win because I'm locked away from the computer.
Yeah. I like it this way better. That way everybody gets a chance.
Yeah, but at least Steam games I'm just going to drop. Steam games all randomly drop.
Steam, well, who the fuck cares about Steam? Do you still have any Gore script keys?
No, we went through all of our Gore script keys, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's a shame. I was saying that game's actually worth giving away here.
What I was going to say is that's the Steam version of Tango Fiesta, which Carnage was struggling to give away there for a while.
I don't know. I didn't hate Tango Fiesta. I thought it was okay.
Most people did.
A lot of people did hate it. I thought it was just, I was kind of apathetic towards it. There's going to be another game like that today that I talk about that I'm just kind of like, eh. I mean, it's not great. It's not bad. It's okay. Those are the worst games for me because at least like if they're good, I could talk about what I really like about it. If they're bad, I could talk about what they could improve. The games that are just okay, you're just like, I mean,
yeah, they're hard to talk about because you got to think of things that are actually like worth talking about with those games.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're basically just spending the whole review going, well, it was okay like this, and I guess that was fun, and this could have been different, but it wasn't terrible.
True. No, Paul's saying, good thing he's not reading off a code. I used to do that on the show.
You should do that at one point, like after the show. Just see if anybody can actually get through it.
I really did. That's how I used to do giveaways on the show. I would just read them off on the show. And like, instead of saying the letters, we would say words and just make shit up. Like, hi, Carl, hi, to, pussy, Hong Kong, 49, Virginia, West xylophone, happy moron, dick yodel, poontang, 7 yodel, penis monkey dick girl zipper. Let's see if anyone gets that.
Oh, is that an actual code?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I just read off a code on the show. I just read off an Avon.
I thought you were just making an example.
I just read off an Avon Colony code on the show.
Fuck,
why did you give away Avon Colony like that?
Didn't even pay attention. People are gonna have to go back.
I don't think anyone did. I don't think anyone paid attention.
That's gonna be great though, because somebody will grab it during the episode. Like when the episode goes on YouTube, somebody will finally get it.
Gotta be on your toes, motherfuckers.
I'm not near the computer.
Let's see if you can implement that into a review. Like, just start noticing the words like that.
It's okay. We still have one more Avon Colony code to give away. So we'll have one more of those. Xbox.
Oh, wow.
We have one more Avon, we have one more Demetrios, we have a couple of other goodies to give away. I have a bunch of gigantic starter packs across Steam and Xbox. If anybody in the chat wants a starter pack for Gigantic on Steam, just tell me and I'll get you a code.
Yeah, the Steam one.
Because I got 4 of them for Steam, and you have to like redeem them in the launcher for the game, so it's hard to just drop a code because no one will know what to do with it. Like, you can't just drop a code like you could drop a random Steam code like that. So.
Yeah.
But we should probably tackle some of the reviews. And the first review that we're going to talk about tonight is called Gigantic, developed by Motiga, published by Perfect World Entertainment. It released July 20th on Xbox One, Windows 10, and Steam as a free-to-play game. A starter pack is available for $9.99 and includes 8 of the heroes, or you could win it from us. An Ultimate Bundle is available for $29.99 and includes access to all heroes for life, like NWO. Gigantic is a third-person strategic hero shooter with fast and fluid action and deeply strategic team gameplay. Fight alongside and against massive guardians in epic 5-on-5 battles to control the battlefield. Summon creatures, generate power, and fight with your guardian to destroy the enemy team. Think fast, be bold, go Gigantic. And we got a bunch of us to talk about this, but I'm going to kick it off with our emailed review from... I'm trying to breathe here. From Dark Mika, who's been in the chat recently, wrote us in a review, and this is what they have to say. Gigantic is a moderate-paced MOBA that requires you to kill the enemy team to get your Guardian Beast to become strong enough to harm the enemy's Guardian enough times to win the game, effectively making each game 4+ rounds long minimum. I've never played a MOBA because they're too fast-paced for me, so I came into this with some serious doubts that I would enjoy it. I found, however, I actually enjoyed it a lot. For those who don't want to put money into it, it's a free-to-play game and gives you 5 characters to play as randomly, which are on rotation. Though how long the rotation changes, we're not too sure, considering it's a new release. Out of the 19 currently available characters, each character has its unique abilities and fighting styles. The game isn't as fast as, say, Overwatch, so I think people who like that can get into this without much issue. I think, however, this is a good one to introduce people into the genre, especially kids or those with visual impairments. I tried the 5 versus 5 mode, but that didn't go well for me. However, there was a 5-player versus 5 bot play mode, which could be used as a really good extra tutorial mode for noobs to be guided by veterans at the game. I spent most of my time in this mode, same with me. The bots are easy to beat, even with 4 randoms with you. They aren't pushovers, but they aren't too smart. You still get progress in this mode, which was awesome to me. Experience, coins for buying characters and outfits, and even get progress on fortune cards, which could give even more coins and XP. So you should just play against bots if the human players are too hard, which is nice. And you can invite 4 friends into the bot match mode, so you can play with your friends for a chilled, laid-back game. The game is bright and colorful. Its art style is odd. I'm not sure how to classify it. It's very pretty, though. The music is great, very calming in the main menu, and a little pumpy during battle. Interesting
Pumpy?
Phrase.
What does that mean?
It is pumpy, but you won't hear it probably because you'll be too focused on killing the bots and players. Also, you can change your key bindings, and it has controller support, which is great for players like me because they reviewed the Steam version. The only real drawback I had for it, I only saw one map, which could be simply because I mostly played the bot match mode, which if you'd go into the other modes, they do have other maps. Still aren't too many in there, but
I think there's still only 3 total.
But I think I think they put more focus on the actual characters than the arenas, because I don't know, the arenas don't really seem to matter too much.
I think that does leave room for future updates, though, because they could just be like, well, no new character this week, but hey,
yeah,
have a new map or something, but we'll see.
Coins also take a while to amass to buy characters. You could get a couple hundred a match, but you need 10,000 to get a single character. There are also a few 5,000 ones and a few more expensive ones, but most are 10. But something super cool, which I absolutely loved, most of the characters draw from other games and movies, like a frog modeled after Ryu from Street Fighter, and a few characters modeled after Overwatch, and more. I just don't know all of them. It's free, so don't buy it. There's a starter pack with 8 characters for 10 and an ultimate pack with all the characters for 30. They also have some small extras, but the characters are the big ticket items. If you like MOBAs, 30 isn't bad for the game, and my cat is walking in front of my monitor, so thank you for that, Coltrane. Please lay the fuck down.
I didn't do it.
That wasn't written, by the way.
I was hoping it was.
30 isn't bad for the game and to have all the characters unlocked. If you're not into them, then don't buy the packs unless you like the free version of the game, if at all. You can unlock every character in the game just by playing it, so it's totally worth it to me, and I don't care much for MOBAs. And I like this one. Not in my top 10 games, but I still enjoyed it. So, Cole, what did you think about Gigantic?
I actually really fucking enjoyed it. I don't...
Really
you know how
enjoyed it.
Really
fucking enjoyed that motherfucker. Cock-sucking game.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you enjoy a game, sometimes you fucking enjoy it. You just really... sometimes it needs the emphasis.
This motherfucker.
Yeah. I y'all have heard me struggle over, like, putting games into genres before, so I don't even know what the fuck MOBA means.
Mobile, multiplayer online battle arena.
Okay. I had no idea. I don't even know, like, if MOBA is a thing that I've enjoyed. I don't know, but I enjoyed this.
Did you like games like Paladins or Smite?
Nah, I hate Smite.
Well, that's a MOBA. That's a true MOBA.
But I did enjoy Paladins as well. So it wasn't far-fetched for me to like Gigantic. But, I like that the characters are available. I like that you don't have to buy the pack if you don't want to. You can play that shit and enjoy it and never buy the damn pack. You find a character that resonates with you, save up your coins, play the shit out of them while they're free, when they're in rotation. Save up your coins and buy just that character. You don't ever have to touch any of the characters that are a playstyle that don't fit you if you don't want to.
Yeah.
You can like Dark Mika said, you can amass more coins by using the fortune cards. And even those, a lot of games when they give you those kind of cards or those missions or whatever, you're stuck with whatever you draw. So if you draw cards that's a mission for a character you don't like, you're stuck with that. That's not the way that Gigantic works. You get to choose from 3 cards. Do I like this? Is this something I think I can attain? And then you put it in your deck and work toward that. If there's a card for a character that you just fucking hate, if you are not a support player whatsoever and you don't want to, work on a mission for a support player, just don't pick that card. And a lot of games that are on that kind of free to play model, they don't give you that freedom because they want you to have to play with the other characters, so you have to buy them or work towards them and spend your coins on them or whatever. Gigantic is far more forgiving, and it really gives you the option to play it the way you want to play it.
Yeah.
Thanks for not talking back to me, you bastard.
How do you like it? How do you fucking like it? I really enjoyed Gigantic. I played the beta, a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that. And I know that the development went through a lot of troubles, and there was a possibility of the game getting scrapped. So I was excited to see it come out. And I actually, a shout out to Motiga. They were, two of the guys from Motiga were two of the first people to really come on the show back when we started back up on episode 118, something like that. Something like that. I don't know. But it's awesome to see it come out, and the game is a lot of fun. I know, CJ, you were saying, I'm not really into games like that. I think you should try it, because it feels a lot... I know you loved Paladins. It feels very similar to Paladins, but with more of a goal to it instead of protect a cart.
Yeah.
I like protecting carts, though.
I know, but now you can do more, like protect a gigantic guardian.
Right.
Yeah, but is the guardian at least cart-shaped?
No,
it's maybe a gigantic cart, because it's gigantic. See? I guess it's...
I like the... Go ahead.
No, you go. It's my show. You go.
Ladies first.
Yeah, CJ, you go.
Joe should be going. Hey, I already said it. I said it first, damn it.
No, you didn't.
I like that you can invite your friends and play with them. There's always a risk with a free-to-play game that the online element is kind of shady. And either it'll be really limited with how it lets you play with your friends or in what modes. You can play online with your friends in this, or you can play against bots. If you guys want to, beat up on the bots because you got your asses whooped playing against other players, it's okay to do that. And you're still going to progress and you're still going to have a good time. You may not progress as fast or get as large of a reward, but you're still going to be able to play the game and enjoy it. Or if you just want to get your whole crew together and slide in there and come up with strategies on how to beat up on people in multiplayer, that's an option. If you're that good, which I'm not, but my option is run out into the middle of the map, hope nobody shoots me before I kill somebody first.
I enjoy the fact that you can play for free with 5 rotating characters. It kind of forces you to try all the different characters available. And if you really like the characters, either unlock them or just pay to get them. Even with the ultimate pack that gets you all the heroes for life, it's only $30. And when you compare that really to some of the other shooters out there, like fucking Battleborn came out at $60.
It did.
That's the
now
one.
Look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at Battleborn.
It meant
Please look at Battleborn. It's dying for attention.
Literally.
Please just look at it. Look at it. Hold it. Blow it a kiss. Do something. I don't know. It's so lonely. I know it's hard giving free-to-play games a review because, they're free and there really is no buy it to it. But I think you should absolutely play the game. It's free to play. Grab it, play it, and if it comes down to the actual purchasable packs, I give the game a buy it. I think it is worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
CJ, you should play it.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
You dumb bitch. Next game to talk about is called Vostok Incorporated, developed by Nosebleed Interactive, published by Badland Games. It released July 27th on PS4, Vita, and Steam for $14.99. An Xbox release was also planned for this week, but apparently got bumped to next Wednesday, August 2nd. Not sure why or what the story is. Might have been like a last-minute certification thing. The Wolf of Wall Street with lasers. You're the newly appointed CEO of Vostok Incorporated. As a greedy space capitalist, your ultimate goal is to get filthy, stinking rich, pilot your own ship, and blast your way through the solar system and collect moolah to help profit your company. This is a really weird mix of like a twin stick shooter, which we know, it's like a mix of a twin stick shooter and like cookie clicker, of all things. It really is. The meat of the actual gameplay is, flying around space, blowing up asteroids, mining for moolah, and then landing on planets and settling them. And by, there's no actual like settlement stuff to it. You're basically just buying buildings to mine more moolah. So you'll start with like tiny little houses that mine like 0.2 or 0.1 moolah per second. And then you gradually buy more and more and more and upgrade them, and they produce more and more money. So it's like a clicker game, but without actually clicking on things. Well, I guess technically you're clicking the A button to buy the buildings, but instead of just sitting and waiting or randomly tapping a button, you can then fly around space, blowing up enemies, getting into dogfights with enemies and aliens and whatever else, flying around, finding all the different planets, upgrading all the planets, getting new buildings, unlocking even more buildings. There's tons and tons of little mini achievements that you can do in the game that can eventually unlock even more stuff. And some of them are actual achievements, which pop for the world famous gamer score. It's just a really, really addictive game. I know Eternal, you and I were going to play Gigantic earlier, and you're like, hey, I'm ready to go whenever. I'm like, let me finish up Vostok.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to just fire it up, fly around, find a couple of planets, murder a couple of aliens, maybe die a couple of times while you're at it, and then just take a break and let it sit on a planet and earn you some money. Even in I know Cookie Clicker, like if your controller turned off, it would boot you back to the main menu. In Vostok, if your controller turns off and you're like on a planet, it'll still just keep earning the money normally. When you turn the controller back on, you could go back to what you're doing. So if you want to get a bunch of money and try getting like a new weapon upgrade or something, just let it sit for an hour or whatever.
Turn it on and then go to work and come back and be like, yeah.
Yeah. There you go. The weapons in this game, there's a really cool weapon system to it where there are 3 different weapons. There's like a standard pew-pew machine gun. There's a laser beam that just shoots straight lasers. And then there's a rocket launcher. And that's the 3 different weapons. They also have 3 selections for the weapons. So once you get enough money, say your first weapon is the standard machine gun. If you then purchase the second one as a machine gun, it combines those into like a spread shot. Or if you do the machine gun with the laser, it does like a constant laser beam that reflects around the screen, like off the edges of the screen. And the more weapons and combinations you make, the crazier weapons you can eventually get. And of course, there's an achievement for getting like all 9 different weapons, stuff like that. So it's constantly giving you new ways to test the weaponry and find new weapons that you might enjoy. There is an annoyance with the game. There is the CEO or the guy that is like gives you the tutorial stuff pops up in the bottom corner. He never goes away. Like every couple of seconds when you're playing, he pops up like, hey, there's this thing going on, blah, 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 blah. You ran out of boost. It'll regenerate, blah, 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 blah. Hey, the stock market in, like, cars is driving away. Just stupid puns. He never shuts up. And it, like, I went through the menus. I tried to find something to turn him off. He'll pop up, like, when you're trying to go through menus and you have to push the button to get rid of him, but then you accidentally buy something in a menu that you didn't mean to.
Oh, no.
He's a pain in the ass. And I want him to go away. Like the game for $15 in my eyes is a buy it, but it would be a much better buy it if you could turn him off. So
the point is that you can't.
Seriously, he gets so fucking frustrating. I think that's the point. He's supposed to be irritating, annoying, but you know, there comes a time where you're sick of him and you want him to shut the fuck up. I can understand him popping up for the story, like the cutscenes of like the boss of the area tries talking to you, but it just go the fuck away when you're not needed. So Nosebleed or Badland, if you guys are listening, let me get rid of him, please, God. But the game is just ridiculously deep. I didn't even go into like you could fly around and pick up like managers that are just floating in space randomly. You'll find a fucking just a spaceman floating around, and then you'll pick him up and he'll give you a boost to the money that you're making. It's ridiculous. The game is ridiculous. It's stylish. It's a little bit annoying with the one dude, but overall, $15, I got to give it a buy it. It's really good. No pulse, stupid puns. He never shuts up talking about Carnage.
That's where I figured that joke was going.
Oh, God. But yeah, I really dug it.
You didn't tell us it during game.
Next game to talk about is called Solstice Chronicles MIA, developed by Ironword, published by Nikdu Games, or Nikidu Games, Nkidu, Enkidu Games. We'll go with that. Released July 26th for $19.99 on Steam, battle for survival against waves of Martian mutants in this tactical twist on twin-stick shooters. Using the skills of your drone companion, make fight or flight decisions that drastically alter the threats you face. Will your choices lead you to freedom or your doom? CJ, what did it lead you to?
A little bit of both. Okay, so yeah, this game is pretty much, gameplay-wise, your standard twin-stick shooter. You look with one stick, shoot with RT, and you move around with the other. Hence, twin sticks. There are two sticks. And that's why I have to say that if you play this with a keyboard, you're not playing it right because you have to have two sticks. But aside from that, this game is actually really, really, really good. I'm really enjoying it. I knew immediately looking at the screenshots and trailer before accepting the game that I was going to love this game because it looks very similar to a game called Alien Swarm that was a free-to-play that was released a long-ass time ago. But it looked like that with the going through corridors, having to interact with terminals and stuff like that to just do basic overall things to change the map so that you can continue. It's just a good storyline in a fun gameplay setting. I like that there's differing aliens in this game that actually require different techniques. Like there's these huge ass guys that will leap on you, and you have to kind of take shots and then back away and take more shots and then back away and take more shots and then back away. And then there's these little things that are annoying to try to shoot, and you wind up wasting ammo because they're so small they can just move around, so you just melee them when they get close to you, and that works out way better. Then you even have these huge bosses that take a little bit of work to get through, but they're pretty fun to kill as well. And besides that, I mean, there's a lot of depth to this game still. There's a huge, like, I'm trying to remember what it's called, just like a system of skills, yeah. Like a skill system, and you unlock points by getting kills, and then with those you can use them to upgrade your skills. Like you can get better health, which is an obvious one, or you can get better working grenades to do more damage, or change the up your fire rate, stuff like that. Just basic overall needed things that'll make the game a little bit easier to get through, considering it gets more and more difficult as you progress through the very, very long campaign. Like, I wound up playing for a decent chunk yesterday, worked through a ton of missions, and there was still a ton more missions to go. I was like, oh my god, this game is way longer than I thought it was going to be. I now understand where the $20 price tag is coming from. This is a long game. I do gotta say, I wish it was like online multiplayer. From what I can tell, it's only like local, and it kind of makes sense because I mean, at least the way the storyline is written, doesn't really make sense for anybody else to be there. It's a lone survivor that's stuck in like this behind enemy lines in this alien-infested area. So with only a drone to help him get through it, so having another person there really doesn't make any logical sense storyline-wise. But that being said, I think that the game is really, really fun. I do think that it could use a little bit more variety in the environments. Like a lot of the game looks the same with a reddish tint, and you're just going through what looks like Mars, basically. Don't have a whole lot else to say about it. It's fun. It has good variety with the skills and gameplay and enemies, but not good variety when it comes to the areas.
Makes sense.
So I guess for $20, I gotta give it like, I mean, I don't really see anything less than a buy it just because it's an extremely fun game to play.
Yeah.
And it looks beautiful. Like, it looks really good.
Cool. Yeah, I know the team at Evolve was really pushing that one, so it's cool that it turned out really well.
Yeah, it turned out pretty damn good. I'm happy that I took it. I like these kind of games.
Good. I'm good to hear that you enjoyed a game.
Ha.
What is this sorcery?
Oh man, we have a 3-pack of racing games to talk about. And Eternal, is there any way for you to read one, or you can't because you're on your phone?
I'm on my phone. I'm sorry.
Because I covered 2, and then
useless guest ever.
Don't worry, I'm not going to read it either.
Greg Middleton wrote one in, so it looks like I'm just going to talk for 3 in a row. First of the... Actually, you could probably talk about one of these, because I think you played this first one. The first one to talk about is called Pressure Overdrive. Did you play this one?
I did. Yeah, you did. I did the review for this one.
Good. So you could talk about it with me. Developed and published by Chasing Carrots. It released July 25th on PS4 and Steam, July 26th on Xbox One for $12.99. In Pressure Overdrive, you revisit an action-packed world filled with crazy characters and funky humor. This enhanced version will challenge your skills while you race, ram, and blast your way through countless bullets and enemies. Customize your buggy for clever play styles and have a friend join the cause in local co-op mode. La Resistance counts on you. This is basically like a top-down, I don't want to say a racing game, driving game. There's no real race to it. That plays kind of like a twin-stick shooter as well, which is
very popular.
Like it was a twin stick with a shmup on the rails, kind of hybrid bastard baby of the 3. Like it really blended those 3 genres. But I suck at genres. We know this, so
yeah.
But that's kind of the best I could do for it.
The way it plays is basically the left stick you use for driving, so you hold forward to move forward, and then you turn left and right, which I'm not a fan of controls like that. I would rather have a separate button to use to accelerate instead of having to hold forward and then turn with the same analog stick, just because it makes the turning a lot harder. At least for me, I've ran into issues of games like that where, you know, I can move left and right okay, but if I'm holding in a direction and going left and right, it's just the turning seems way too tight, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I struggled with it a little bit too. I'd find myself kind of like trying to take a turn, and then I'd make the movement for the turn, and then find myself stuck because I'd let go and wasn't pushing forward too. No. And I was like, well, now when you lag too long, a little grinder like comes up from behind you and then chews up your ass.
Yeah.
It really kicks you into gear again. So I met the grinder a few times.
Part of me wishes it was just like an auto driver and you would steer left and right, because clearly the way the controls worked is they couldn't really map accelerate to the triggers, because the triggers and the bumpers are all used for the potential weapons or extra abilities that you unlock through the game. So I guess they did the best they could with the options they were given control-wise, because you need the other thumb on the right stick to shoot the enemies, and that's basically an auto shoot. You just point in the direction and it shoots. You have to manage your pressure, which is basically like steam pressure, because the more you shoot, the more your pressure goes down. It will regenerate slowly over time, or when you kill enemies, they'll drop pressure canisters that will give you a boost.
You also get a boost if you hit checkpoints in the campaign.
Yeah, they drop a whole bunch of pressure and health and money. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, yay. Although you don't restart from a checkpoint if you die.
No, you start all over if you get wasted.
It's just like the checkpoint is basically, in a sense, a free health boost for the most part.
Yeah.
Which,
it's a much better term for it.
It works. It's not really a checkpoint in the sense that, when you die, you either restart or you go back to the town or the garage. After each race, you could use the money that you've unlocked to purchase upgrades and new weapons, or you can increase your pressure canister, your hull, so you can take more damage. You can increase your weapon power, and they have 9 different weapons that you can choose from.
I think so. Yeah, each of the different sections that you can upgrade, there tends to be between 7 and 9 options. I think one might have 5 options, but 7 to 9 is kind of the average.
It ranges from like the standard machine gun that you start with. They have a shotgun, spread shot. They have fucking missiles, a missile launcher, grenade launchers. They have, you like the buzzsaws.
I did. I like those saws because, unlike all of the other options, the saws will ricochet off of the wall. So if like you're in an area where it's enclosed, until they hit something, the saws will continue to ricochet. So you don't have to be as precise with your aim.
Yeah. When you buy things, you can upgrade them to usually like 3 tiers.
Mm-hmm.
You can make it 3 times more powerful.
The only exception to that is the buggy itself, and then there's I think 5 or 6 different upgrades.
Yeah, you just buy the new shell, and then you just move from there. This is a game that is probably best to play on easy the first time through because it's a lot more forgiving money-wise. On normal, if you buy something and you didn't mean it or you're not happy with it, you can sell it back for like 70% of your money back. On easy, you get all your money back. And on hard, I don't think you get anything, do you? I
didn't buy anything back on hard or sell anything back. Yeah, I was just like, okay, this is hard, and bye.
Yeah, basically you play on easy to figure out what works for you, and then you play on the other difficulties and do your best, I guess. I did have a gripe with the fact that once you beat a level, when you go back to it, you can try replaying it to get all the enemies or all the gold in a level, but you can't use your new equipment.
No, it kind of saves like a ghost of your car with all the same equipment that you played it with the first time.
Which I'm not a fan of. If I'm playing through the game and I buy a lot more powerful equipment, let me replay those old stages and try for a better score with new equipment instead of if I just scraped by the first time and I missed a lot of shit, I can't get that stuff back. Like, I can't give it another shot.
It's the same. Once you beat the campaign, it unlocks the free play mode. And with the free play mode, even though you can recustomize your vehicle before you start the level, you're limited to whatever gold you've already earned previously.
Yeah.
Once you use it, it's spent. And you have to rebuy your upgrades every time you replay a level. So, I started at 20,000. I went in, replayed a level, and I was like, oh, I got 20,000 gold. And so I bought all of the upgrades. And then when I went back to play another level, I was back to a bare chassis with no upgrades, and I only had 5,000 to work with that time. I was like, that was dumb.
Yeah, it just the way that they handle replaying levels in the game, I'm not a fan of it. It's enjoyable the first time through, but trying to replay it, like, I would rather just either play it fresh or be able to use my new equipment in there. That's the point in replaying levels.
Yeah. The endless mode is far better as far as...
What the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
Mom, please.
Turn your vibrate off.
I know, it is. That's the terrible part. I don't know what did it. I don't know. I don't know. I go in before the show and like turn off all my notifications and like I missed something.
Yeah, you mentioned endless mode. That basically you go as far as you can, and each checkpoint, I guess, you spin a roulette wheel, or not a roulette wheel, but like a slot machine, and you could pick one of the items offered to you of the 4, and then it also gives you a power up as well, like either the touch of love, which turns enemies onto your side, or rapid fire, spread shot, stuff like that. Those are just temporary things, so they'll go away after a few seconds, but
I wish the power-ups, even in a campaign, I wish they were a little more abundant. I wish they kind of just dropped. There's one like mini boss in every level who will drop one power-up, and it's usually about halfway through, and it lasts for just a few seconds, and then that's it. There's no more power-ups. You're done.
Yeah, and a lot of achievements are tied to those as well, like trying to touch 10 enemies with the touch of love to get them on your side. Every time I could swear I have 10, but I apparently don't. So maybe I have 8 or 9. I feel like I should have gotten that achievement like 6 times already.
There's the one for crossing the line with 5. And I had 5 right until I got in front of the line, and then one got destroyed. And I was so mad. I was so mad. I was like, you know how hard it is to even get that one to drop.
Yeah.
Traumatized.
The only other gripe I really had with the game is the cutscenes look like ass.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you noticed it, but like all the edges in the cutscenes look all pixely and digitized. Like it wasn't like encoded properly or something. The rest of the game looks great. I just think the cutscenes, I don't know if the resolution is off or what it was, but
I did have some stuttering at the end boss. A couple of the end levels did it for little blips, but the end boss and I had some serious like stuttering problems. I don't know if maybe it's because I was using, like I said, I used the saw blades there once I discovered that those were my thing. And when you upgrade it, like, you know, does the 3 shots of blades at a time. Of course, they bounce around, so that gets to be a lot on the screen. And I don't know if maybe that was what was slowing me down, but I had a lot of issues with stuttering against the last few levels and especially the main boss.
Yeah, but I guess that happens. What are you going to do? Overall, for the $13, I think it's definitely worth trying. I give it a recommended try. I hope they put some kind of fix in there so that you're able to go back over the old levels with your new stuff.
I can agree to that.
What were your thoughts on it?
Well, it's fun. Like, it's when you're playing it, it's genuinely enjoyable. Like, you're like, yeah, this is pretty cool. But the replay, it has a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Potential for replay, but there's some pretty big stumbling blocks with it. But it is enjoyable. It's fun. And the price is kind of right. I mean, you can't, $13 for, you know, as much as there with the endless mode and stuff is a pretty good deal. It's just, I wish they'd fix some of the few
annoyances.
Yeah. They're not even like major, I hate this game because of this. It's just like, oh, come on. You know, like, you're not overwhelmingly enraged because it won't let you do this or that. You accept it because it's a game and that's what it gives you, but you wish it was just a little different. So yeah, I could see a solid try it. If they'd fix that, then I'd be like, man, everybody needs to buy this because this is fun. But
yeah, I dig it. Again, I enjoyed it. I just don't think it's a must buy. Just hopefully they'll fix up those little issues though. So
yep.
Next game to talk about is called Tiny Tracks, developed and published by Future Lab. Released July 25th on PlayStation VR for $19.99. Childhood imagination comes to life as tiny racers boost around your body, jump overhead, and drift around bends inches from your face. Explore the charming beauty of 12 stunning tracks set across tropical islands, volcanoes, ice caves, and outer space, all constructed around you in dazzling VR. Our friend Greg Middleton wrote in his review of this one, so let's go to that. Tiny Tracks is a game exclusively for PlayStation VR from the developer of the Velocity games. They bring the charm of the small racing into the virtual reality space, and I have to admit, they've done VR proud. The game is set across 3 themed environments: tropical, fire, and ice, and space, with a wide range of complexity across the 12 tracks on offer, including jumps, loops, and dunking underwater and flying overhead. What I really loved about the underwater section was that you can duck your head under the ocean and all the game audio and music changes as though you're really underwater. Hey, that's pretty cool.
Wow, yeah.
There's a drift mechanic within... What'd you say?
It's a neat...
Are you just
in
like...
a barrel?
He's probably like lounging back in his... He's probably just like...
I am lounging back in my chair.
He's stuffing his face. What the hell happened?
I wish I was, but my burgers are upstairs.
I'm just gonna lay here.
Yep.
Just
laying back.
I'm gonna do it. Anyway, there's a drift mechanic within Tiny Tracks. As you take a corner, you have to manage your drift with the left thumbstick, keeping a drift indicator in the green bar. Getting this right will get you around the corner quickly while also charging your boost. But if you mess up, mess the drift up, the indicator bar will go red, slowing you down or even braking to a stop. Sounds easy, but this is quite difficult because the boosting, steering, and by the way, you can also change lanes on the tracks as well, will all need to be coordinated. You could say this alone could lose people with its initial high difficulty, but probably took me just over an hour, and I was drifting and boosting around racing tracks with a smile on my face. Even though the closest I got to winning a race was third place, I was having a damn good time. There's both solo play and multiplayer modes available, with the multiplayer allowing for 2 to 4 players in public or private lobbies. In both modes, you can either play one track at a time, or you could play in the cup modes that will race you in all 4 tracks of a chosen environment. The graphics are bright and colorful, and I was really pleased with the overall presentation the devs had put into the environments because it's a VR title. The feeling of depth is really impressive, and is fun to follow the cars, which feels extremely natural. For the price, this game is great fun. It can be frustrating at first, but with a little practice, it starts to come together as a rewarding racing game that brings back memories of playing Scale Electrics? I don't know what the hell that is. I have no clue what the hell that game is. I wonder if it was like a PC. I don't know. Add in the element of VR, and this sits you right in the middle of the action. I would have hoped for a little more content, but maybe this will get some DLC at a later date. Overall, I've really grown to appreciate what Future Lab have done with their first stab into the VR with a title that may not be as immersive as other VR games, but has enough exciting gameplay that has kept me coming back. I was eager to play this title because I love Velocity 2X on the Vita, and Tiny Track's PSVR shows that Future Lab really have the key to addictive gameplay. So what are you waiting for? Buy it. Thank you for that, Greg. I am excited to try that one myself. I was hoping to chime in on that one. I just haven't had the time because I've been trying to plan for this show. It's so busy.
I held up a thumbs up, but you can't hear it.
One more and you'll get to talk soon again, CJ. It's okay. The third and final racing game to talk about is called Race Arcade, developed and published by Iceflake Studios. It releases August 4th on Xbox One for $9.99. Race Arcade is the ultimate top-down racing game with a strong retro feeling and super smooth gameplay. This is a big game with tiny cars and 100 tracks and diverse environments. The car selection varies from sports car to a real UFO, so there are plenty of options to choose from. I'm like kind of middle of the road on this game. It is top-down racer, very similar in style to like the tabletop racing games or Rockin' Racing that Enjoy Up have put out.
Tabletop is the normal.
Yeah, it's more like the Rockin' Racing games, off-road and the.
Oh, please don't say that.
What? Don't say
it's
what?
It's like that. It's like those.
No, in style. It's the same top-down style, or like Super Sprint. Stuff like that.
RC, whatever, Pro-Am or some shit.
Well, RC Pro-Am is more like isometric view. Yeah. There's a ton of tracks in the game. Basically, you start off and you can choose either local multiplayer that you play with friends, up to 6 players on Xbox, or I think 4 on other platforms. You pick a track, you pick what class of vehicle you want. You start off with just like standard cars. You could get formula racers. They have motorcycles, and then goofy stuff like they have fucking tractors and UFOs that you could get, which each give different handling and everything else. And then you choose your difficulty for the cup. Easy will be 5 races. Medium is 10 races. I haven't done hard because I kind of got frustrated with the difficulty. The AI in this game, it feels like they are on a set path and they will not deviate from that path. If another car is there, they'll pretty much grind up against it or try driving through it. So when if you're leading in the standings, they'll start you at the back of the pack. Trying to get in front of people is kind of frustrating because they're in your way the entire time. Trying to go around them will just eventually cause them to like ram into you and push you off the course, which is always fun. And it felt like, I don't know, some of the races, it felt impossible to win but thankfully you're able to restart a race without any kind of penalty. So for the achievement that's like win every race in a cup, if you're not going to win it, you just restart the race and try again. Handling is fine depending on the vehicle. You only have accelerate and brake, which are either the triggers, or you could use A and B, or you could even use the thumbstick for forward and backward. You're going to have to use the brake. It's not just drive around at full speed the whole time. You're going to need to brake going into turns so you could cut tighter corners. I'm bummed that there was no form of car upgrades. Like, there's money that you can earn in the game that you use to unlock the later vehicles, but once they're unlocked, unless I'm missing something, you don't upgrade the vehicles, the speed, the handling, anything. Even when you're choosing which vehicle you want, they'll have stats of like handling, top speed, acceleration. And I don't know if it's a glitch or what it is, but everything showed the same exact rating of like 3 dots or 4 dots, whatever it was, no matter what the vehicle was. And I didn't see anything that you can buy upgrades or make your cars better. It lets you replay the races so you could earn as much money as you want, but after you unlock all the classes, what the fuck is the money for? It's
like maybe they had a great idea of including more and then just couldn't for whatever reason. They were just like, okay, just ship it as it is.
It's possible. It feels like the game is just missing something.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if
I guess
planned
it is.
upgrades. Yeah. Like, I don't know if it was planned to have upgrades and they just had to chop it last minute, or if something wasn't working. Content wise, there are tons and tons of tracks. They say 100 tracks in the game, and every course you go on, and every vehicle and every difficulty, they're always different courses. So there's constantly new courses to drive on. There's some great course designs in there. They could range from some races where laps are like 30, 40 seconds a lap to some of the quicker ones where you're doing 5 laps and each one is like 8 seconds long. So there's a lot of track variety there. A decent enough gameplay variety between the different vehicle classes. I don't know. It's not a bad game. It's an enjoyable game. It's fun enough. It's a bit frustrating with the AI just being on that set path. For $10, it's just try it. It's not a bad game. It's not a great game. It's enjoyable. It's okay.
There it is.
What?
When you mentioned earlier that there's some games that are hard to review because they're not bad but not good.
CJ, no one can hear you when you're 12 feet away from the microphone.
I'm actually right next to my microphone.
So yeah, Race Arcade, try it. It's okay. It is better than the Rockin' Racing games.
Well, that's a relief.
Kind of sets the bar a little low.
Yeah. All right, next game to talk about is called Unbox Newbie's Adventure, developed by Prospect Games, published by Merge Games, released July 25th on Xbox One and PS4 for $29.99. The original Unbox was previously on Steam for $19.99, with the Newbie's Adventure content being given as a free update. The Global Postal Service is nearing bankruptcy. To save themselves, they've created self-delivering boxes. Plays the GPS's latest cardboard creation, Newbie, as you attempt to save the day, dressed to impress with a massive range of over 40,000 combinations of hats, clothing, accessories, and funny faces. Explore huge worlds full of challenges, collectibles, and boxy boss battles as you compete against the dastardly wildcards. Don't be a square, think outside the box, and create your very own cool cube. CJ, what did you think of this one?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm joking. I knew I was here. It is boxerific.
I like how now is when your mic decides to get all staticky. Right. Okay, go ahead. It's done.
Okay. Game is fun.
Fucking thing.
Is it fucking fun, though?
I mean, I think it's a little too kid-friendly to be fucking fun. I think it's more like just regular fun. You know? Maybe a frickin' fun.
Family friendly.
Flippin' okay.
Flippin', dippin', and great. Okay. Anyway, no, for real, the game is basically like a '90s collectathon 3D platformer. I mean, you flip around as a box. I mean, I guess that's the easiest way to say that you just basically push yourself over on each side, and because of the fact that you're a box and you're trying to roll on the ground, it creates some interesting moments because you can't exactly move exactly how you want due to, being a box. You have edges. It makes it pretty entertaining. The game is gorgeous looking. Like, I think anybody can do attest that this game is one of the better looking indie games out there. I think Joe would agree.
Mm-hmm.
Good, finally, fuck. Anyway.
Below me.
I was waiting for you to agree. You basically, the big point is to just get all these stamps and then fight a boss and then get more stamps and fight a boss and get more stamps. And
How do
to
you
get those
stamps.
Thanks for interrupting.
You guys kept interrupting me.
Well, in order to get the stamps, you must complete like little challenges, or you can just find them hidden around. They're very well hidden if they're stamped normally, but you could do like little races or races and collect stuff, and more collecting and races as the challenges. There's some fun, quirky ones though. Like, I mean, towards the beginning, there's one that you have to jump from boat to boat that's moving on the water, and after 2 hits on the water, you die, sorta, as a box. I mean, you get soggy.
You could bounce once, and then if you hit the water again, you just sink.
Yep. You get 1 bounce, and then you become too soggy to ship, and so you die. And you had to manage getting onto the boat and then getting to the next boat, and they're all moving around, so it becomes complicated. I like the environments in this game. I think the game looks great. Like I said earlier, it's a very fun looking game. It's cartoony, but still looks somewhat realistic for being a game about boxes. I will say my one complaint with this game is that you can change your character's name, but that doesn't change like how they address you. They still call you newbie anyway. It's like, what's the point in being able to change your character's name if they're still going to call you newbie? It just kind of.
What you gonna do, sucker?
I feel like it could have been a very simple thing.
You're simple.
Maybe a little bit. I don't know. Who cares? I think that the controls are pretty good. I don't remember them, but they're good. I did play the game a lot, but it was like a couple weeks ago before the interview.
Yeah, if people are interested in an interview with the developer of Unbox, go back and listen to episode 297. That was a fun chat that you showed up halfway through for.
Yes, I did, because you had the time wrong.
No, so I didn't have the time wrong. I was told the wrong time.
Well, the point is you told me the wrong time, so I couldn't be there in time.
I was told the wrong ones. Oh, man. Yeah, I thought it was a really fun game. I thought the movement took a little bit to get used to, just because you have to deal with the physics of a box bouncing around. It was one of those games that gave me a little bit of motion sickness. Like, I actually got to the point where like my mouth was watering. I went to the bathroom and I was like kneeling, ready to go, and then my body was just like, "Nah, you're good. Never mind." JK.
Really?
Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's so weird. What was it, Grid, that we were talking about that made you motion sick, but for me it did nothing?
I got so sick on Grid. Oh my gosh.
We're not talking about the racing game from like 2011, right?
No, this is it's an on the rails. It's 2D. GRIDD.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, it just came out last week.
All right. Mm-hmm. Well, back to the game that's actually here. The reason it's called Unbox is because you can unbox, which is basically a double jump, but you get like 6 of those.
Yeah, you basically wrap yourself up in a bunch of boxes, and you use them as bonus jumps. So you could jump and then unbox yourself, which shoots you up higher, and again, and again, and again.
until you run out, and then you can't do that anymore.
And then you fall to the ground.
Also, if you take damage, you lose one of those boxes, because I guess that box gets scratched, so you have to get rid of it.
Yeah. Maybe there's
You don't want
poo on
damaged packaging. This game has a fuck ton of collectibles.
It does. Like, oh my lord, there's so
many.
For people who enjoyed Ukulele, Snake Pass, like the retro N64 era style platformers that have been coming out, I think they're absolutely going to love Unbox. I worry that people might avoid it because of the $30 price tag.
Yeah, I do think that it seems a bit steep, but I mean, it is a nice looking game. It's a nice long game.
Yeah, there's tons of content there worth the $30. I worry that a lot of people are going to see that price tag and be like, I could get Resident Evil for cheaper than that or something stupid. I don't know. I think the $20 that the game was originally on Steam feels like a perfect price for it, and I'm sure that it'll eventually be on sale. If you've got the $30 for the game, I think it's worth buying. If you don't, it's very likely to go on sale eventually.
No, so. What you need to do is you need to go back in time and pre-order where it was on that discount for $23.99.
Yeah.
That's what the rating is. Go back in time.
I don't think that's an official rating of ours.
I guess if I have to give it a real rating, I'd say for now it's a recommended try it. I think the price tag is a little bit hampering, but at a little bit cheaper, like $20, it could very easily be a buy it instead.
Yeah. Or if you're Mr. Moneybags and you just got the money to spend, I think it is worth the price tag, but I still think it's going to turn people off. Which is a bummer.
Also, did you find the noises somewhat a little bit annoying?
The characters talking? Yeah. I think that's
like
something
every
out
single
of
one of these games are obligatory to having that, and it's like, why?
Like the weird reverse gibberish. I don't get it, but whatever.
That's one stigma from the past I wish would go away.
True. But otherwise, yeah, I think it was a really solid game. Aside
quite
from
fun. It was just quite fun.
Indeed, I agree. Final game to talk about is called Infinite Mini Golf, developed and published by Zen Studios. It released July 25th on Xbox One, PS4, PlayStation VR, and Nintendo Switch for $14.99. Actually, the Switch release got delayed a couple of days, but apparently it's all taken care of now. It was previously available on Steam as well. Explore thousands of holes created by the community, set new world records, participate in multiplayer competitions, customize your character with unlockable clothes and accessories, or create your own courses. The possibilities are endless in Infinite Mini Golf. Cole, what did you think of Infinite Mini Golf?
I loved mini golf. I have to put a little disclaimer here. I don't do sports games. That's my one line in the sand. I will play shit all day long. I don't care what you hand me, but when you say sports, I'm like, nope, see ya. So I really didn't expect when you were like golf, I'm going, but I had already looked it up because I'd heard a little bit about it, and I heard a lot of other people going, I can't wait to play mini golf. I'm going, let's try mini golf. Let's play it with people and see if maybe it can change my mind. Infinite Mini Golf changed my mind. That's what I'm trying to say. Long story short, I enjoyed it. I really did. I suck at sports games normally. You tell me golf, fuck off. But this was fun. You can play with friends. There is up to 8-player online. You can play. If you've got a group of 2, you can play 1v1, or you can do a 4 to 8 person tournament, and then there's a couple other options too. One thing I did find odd though was playing with a group of 3. You can't play. You have to play a custom match if you have 3 people. You can't play any of the set playlists. So that's a little limiting, but it wasn't the worst thing ever to have to play a custom match instead. It does have solo mode as well. In addition to being able to play online, you can play on your own. There are tournaments to play against AI, or you can just quick play and play on all of the different maps that are all the different courses that have been made by the community. There's an editor mode. You can use pieces of tracks and different obstacles and gems and power-ups and bonuses to make the course for the game whatever you want. And then you can share it with the community and other people can play it. With quick play mode, it does choose randomly. You don't have any kind of say over which courses you get to play on or not. You can upvote or downvote them though. There is a rating system. Maps or courses that are, crummier and get bad ratings, they will sink to the bottom and won't show up in quick play as frequently as ones that receive higher ratings, which is good because there's an achievement for getting 100 votes, and a lot of people have been spamming the ever-loving fuck out of that.
Oh my god! I'm most irritated with all the fucking straight courses in the game. I know this has been a huge thing between everyone that we've been talking with. The developers on Twitter are like, yeah, we realize it's an issue. That's one of the downfalls to having a game with creation elements, and one of the achievements is create a course that everybody just drops a straight piece of the play field, puts a hole on it, and uploads it. Fuck all of you. Fuck all of you.
Even an achievement hunter like me, I would still make a real course because it'd be fun.
Especially Carnage in chat, who's hanging out in chat. Fuck you, Carnage.
Fuck you. Give me a code.
I love the fact that I tweeted out because when I uploaded the interview with Mel of Zen, which was episode 299, by the way, go check that one out. We've had a lot of good interviews lately. I wanted to include an image of a really shitty hole. So I just started the game and I went until I saw a shitty hole, which was like 2 holes in. And of course it was Carnage's, where not only did he just drop a single piece of the course and put a hole there, he put the hole directly next to where you start to putt. Like right there, maybe an inch away. So I took a screenshot and I used that and I tweeted out, I'm like, don't be a Carnage, put effort into your holes. And like Carnage got the joke. We laughed about it. And then one of his, I don't know if it's a follower of his or someone who goes to his streams or something, like got super white knighty about it. Like, you don't need to be shit talking Carnage over this. This is an issue with the developers, not with Carnage. I'm like, listen, if Shiz Black's course came up first, I would have gladly shit all over Shiz because I do that regularly the way it is. But I forget who it was, but he said the SML Podcast is a piece of shit, and he blocked me on Twitter.
me and him had it out. I'm surprised he hasn't blocked me because me and him had it out. If you remember, I made a post about feminism in gaming and how I was like one of the few people that were legitimately happy about Call of Duty, including female characters. And like he went on to tell me that if I wanted to play a game with female characters, that I needed to make my own damn games because they weren't made for me. And feminism's not a real thing. And
Jesus Christ, what a total douchebag.
Sexism only happens in like 5% of games, so it's okay because it's only a small percent. But it's not a real issue anyway. And if I did wanted to do anything about it, I needed to shut up. It was like a really horrible exchange. And he unfollowed me and stuff. I know who he is.
He just straight up blocked me because No Pulse was like,
I don't know how I managed to not get blocked, but it was an interesting exchange that went on for like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, No Pulse asked me like, do you know the guy who said that your show's a piece of shit? I'm like, who said my show's a piece of shit? He apparently told me that my show's a piece of shit and then immediately blocked me. So I didn't get a notification about it. And I couldn't see the message. So I had to like open up the reply in a new window, or like an incognito window just so I could see his tweets, and there it was, like, have fun with your piece of shit show, Joe, or something like that. I'm like, what the
What an asshole idiot.
You can't hurt my feelings by telling me my show's a piece of shit. I say it all the time.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking obvious.
I mean, 14 people are in chat right now, and they all know that my show is a piece of shit.
The only reason they're even here is because there's a possibility of winning codes.
Yeah, I've been dropping codes like crazy. I thought it was hilarious that I don't remember his name. I don't care about his name because I sure as shit don't want to give him publicity. But the fact that he turned Super White Knight over something that Carnage was laughing about. So, fucking whatever. Hopefully the developers do something about these courses, though, either by having a way to, like, flag them as, like, hey, this is a shitty, boring achievement course, or just something, because that is my...
I love that was all a part of that review. Like, literally everything that just happened is a part of that review.
It was all related.
Oh, man.
But you can report courses if there are bad ones. You know, I guess if the achievement ones really piss you off enough, you could report them. For me, I've been giving them... Yeah, No Pulse is probably reported. If
he said that he's reporting all the ones like that, and I might start doing the same. I used to just give them boring faces, but I've been
giving them pukey faces.
Oh, No Pulse said, have fun with your shit podcast, Joe. That's what it was. He knows.
Probably because you let a girl be on it. Ugh,
clearly he listens. Let's all just accept the fact that my shitty show had Mel Kirk of Zen Studios on it.
Yeah.
So suck a dick, White Knight. And then my shitty show also has two of the guys from Mediatonic to talk about Fable Fortune coming in just a few minutes. Once we finish this long-winded review.
This
what was I talking about?
I don't know. We were talking about the course creator. I love the fact that the course creator's there because there are some fantastic courses that have been made.
Yeah.
There are some frustrating ones. There's some ones that clearly haven't been tested well, like the people who put the speed up ramps or the speed up sections on ramps so that they're not, like, positioned properly and you can't really hit them right.
I do wish that there was some kind of way to, like, skip without having to skip the whole course. When I was playing with a friend, actually it was last night, we kept getting a lot of boards where there were the speed ups right there at the ramps, and of course if you fall back down and then your ball just sits there and bounces indefinitely, and like he was really pissed because he had to give up 3 or 4 holes in one tournament just because he was stuck. We just kept getting these shitty maps over and over and then get stuck. Of course, you know, that's the other thing too. If you were playing multiplayer, the first person that finishes the hole can rate it, and everybody else is just along for the ride. So it'd be nice
not
if
the first.
Is it not?
It's everyone but the last, as long as you have time.
Everyone but the because we were just playing with the 2, and I don't. Like I said, I've only played it one other time with 3, so it would be nice if there was enough of a lapse of time there where everybody could at least get a few seconds to rate the board, even if they suck at the game. Just because you're bad at the course doesn't mean you shouldn't get an opinion on it.
Even if it's on the screen where it like shows everyone's score between holes, it'd be good if they did that.
That would be good.
Overall, though, for $15, what are your thoughts on Infinite Mini Golf?
Buy it. No, because despite all the drama over the achievement, it's a lot of fun. And like I said, it's unlike normal mini golf where, you know, it's all about getting the least amount of shots. You can suck and take 9 million. Well, you get 10 shots unless you set it to a custom amount. So you can take 9 shots where you're just really shitty and all over the course. As long as you're, like, getting diamonds or getting the purple gem, whatever collectible there is there on the board, or making decent shots where you're ricocheting, do, you know, fancy shit, you're gonna rack up enough score that you can still hold your own against whoever might be doing better.
Yeah.
So I've held down a pretty solid second place in most of my games. I put up a fight. I might only come in second, but I can put up a fight, and that's somebody who never plays golf games. So it's enjoyable for everybody. Even my kids have played it, and this is something that I would have expected them to turn their noses up in a heartbeat. And they've sit couch co-op and played it with each other and just had a good time. So it's fun. I give it a solid buy it.
I agree. I give it a highly, highly recommended buy it. It might actually end up eventually being inducted into something that I would like to introduce right now. We have covered so many awesome games on this show, and there always seems to be a few that we come back to and talk about. Like, I'll always recommend, this game is great. I almost spent as much time on it as X game. And I wanted to recognize some of those amazing games. So I am, with episode 300, opening up the SML Hall of Fame.
Yay, finally! I've been telling you to do that for fucking ever.
Wait, you took a CJ idea? Never mind, it's terrible.
I don't remember CJ ever telling me to do that.
I fucking said that right after we reviewed Riptide. So, fucking hear it.
So on that note, the very first game that I would like to induct into the Hall of Fame is going to be Quest of Dungeons from Upfall Studios. It is a kind of top-down, turn-based, roguelike, crawling through a dungeon, killing enemies. It was just incredibly addictive, incredibly fun. I always find myself recommending it to people. And I wanted to go above and beyond and not just talk about games, so I emailed all the developers of these games, and David Amador of Upfall Studios has this to say: "Thank you so much, and it is an honor that you consider my game as part of your favorites. I'm not really good with words, but I know this: the game wouldn't have reached the places it reached if it hadn't been for the amazing support of the community and people like you trying to share with the world games that they liked and helping the little guys. So my most sincere thank you." Have either of you played Quest of Dungeons at all?
I have not.
I have not.
Y'all need to fix that shit. It's in the fucking Hall of Fame. Next game that is getting inducted, because we have 5 games to induct. CJ should be excited. Riptide GP Renegade from Vector Unit is in the SML Hall of Fame. And Matt Small of Vector Unit had this to say: "Hey, thanks a lot. We make games that we love to play ourselves, and we never really know until we release them whether other people are going to like what we've made. It's super gratifying for us whenever a gamer or a fan or a blogger or reviewer latches on to one of our games and loves it. Thanks a lot for the praise and the Hall of Fame award, and congratulations on the 300th episode." I guess that could be the quote. So thank you to Matt for writing in, and congrats for your game being fucking amazing. CJ, what do you want to say about Riptide? Because I know you want to talk.
Well, Riptide, you have changed my life for like 8 hours. But it was an incredible 8 hours that I really enjoyed getting every achievement in. So I loved your game, man.
I have yet to play Riptide. I have it.
What the
but it's
fuck?
Actually, listen though, let me finish. The reason I never get to play it is every time I load it up, my daughter takes the Xbox controller from me because it's one of her favorite games. So I never get to play it because she hoards it.
I guess that makes sense.
She even has it on her phone. She's like, "Man, I get break at school. What am I doing? Sitting on the bleachers playing Riptide." I was like, "Okay."
I know Carnage is saying he knows what the next one is, so I'm purposely going to skip that one for now. Iron Cryptical is getting inducted. Yes, a very recently released, or a very recent release, Iron Cryptical from Confused Pelican and Tiki Pod. I actually emailed them asking if they have any kind of words that they would like to say about it, and Duggan from Tiki Pod just said, "Not sure we really have a speech of any sort." But thanks for checking out the game, and it's great that you like it. Yes.
Oh, I know what one of them's going to be.
I loved Iron Cryptical, and actually when we reviewed it, I kept comparing it to, like, I spent time on this like I spent with Quest of Dungeons, and that's kind of what led me to really consider doing this. So, Carnage, do you have any kind words about Iron Cryptical?
Do I have to be the bad guy and say that I have Iron Cryptical and I haven't played it yet either?
God damn it.
At least there's more of an excuse. It's not as old.
Nicole, middle name, Martin. What is your problem?
Nicole is my middle name.
I thought that was your first name.
No,
it's Cole.
Nicole Martin.
Nicole.
Oh, my Lord. Well, on Facebook, it's Nicole Martin, so you're lying on Facebook.
Facebook doesn't say you have to use your first name. Also, nobody ever calls me Nicole.
Well,
nobody ever calls me my first name either.
What is your first name?
Fuck that! Terrible.
The fourth game getting inducted is Guns, Gore, and Cannoli from Crazy Monkey Studios. Benjamin Clays of Crazy Monkey had this to say: I want to thank you for the award. It's great to hear Guns, Gore, and Cannoli is being considered one of the best games you reviewed, so thanks for that. Guns, Gore, and Cannoli's upcoming sequel is still in full production. Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 2 is scheduled to be released within a few months. Still has a lot of work to be done, of course. We definitely pimped up the gameplay a lot in comparison to the first game, but Vinny will still be the main character, kicking a lot of ass, just like in the first game. I am very, very much looking forward to Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 2, and hopefully Benjamin will come back on the show, since he was awesome enough to be on the first game.
My cat's licking me now.
Wonderful. And the fifth and final game to be inducted into the Hall of Fame as Carnage guest is Vertical Drop Heroes HD from Nerduke Productions and Digerati Distribution. Matt Cundy of Digerati had this to say: big thanks to Joe and the SML crew for recognizing the understated, addictive awesomeness of Vertical Drop Heroes. It's truly an honor to be among the first games inducted into the SML Hall of Fame, and if there are any listeners who haven't sampled its delights yet, we strongly urge them to heed the wisdom of Joe's impeccable taste and go purchase Vertical Drop Heroes immediately. So yeah, those are the first 5 games to make it into the SML Hall of Fame: Quest of Dungeons, Guns, Gore, and Cannoli, Vertical Drop Heroes HD, Iron Cryptical, and Riptide GP Renegade. And we have to have an honorary induction as well for our favorite guests who've ever been on the show. And the only people that we could induct first with this is the legendary trio of Mike Micah, Adam Rippin, and Bob Baffy. I invited them all to be on this episode, but Mike, Adam, and Bob are so ridiculously busy working on games that they couldn't make it, but they're awesome, and we love them, and they'll always be our favorites. So yeah, that's the Hall of Fame. I fucking opened a Hall of Fame for my show.
The Hall of Fame is shit. There's no point and clicks in it.
Yeah, I was about to say there's one game that's really missing, and it's that it's the one game that you didn't get to play. So of course I didn't expect it to be there because it was a Steam only game.
Which one?
Maze, the greatest fucking walking simulator of all time. That game was incredible.
Well, that could be in the CJ Hall of Fame.
Yeah, because that means a whole lot. There's a spider on my desk.
Oh, man. This has been a hell of a show, and it is not over yet. We are going to take one more quick break, some music, and then I am going to be back with a fantastic chat with Luke Borrett and Tom Wimbush of Mediatonic, talking about Fable Fortune and all the fun stuff that happens there. So, man, this has been a long one.
Yeah, you worried me for a second when you said it's not over yet. I was like, what?
My ear hurts.
We ain't done yet, motherfuckers. No Pulse favorite guest, Zeno Zolkaj of LGM Games and Starpoint Gemini. I think the LGM crew is going to be in the next class. No worries.
I thought for sure if you were going to do that, it would be Loot Interactive first.
Yeah.
Needless to say, 300 episodes, we've had some amazing guests on this show.
That's true. There's been some interesting people.
And we've been getting bigger and better guests, and I think this show's going to keep kicking ass for the next, I don't know, at least
10 minutes,
10 or 12 episodes, something like that. Beyond that, who
you gave it more
knows?
faith than I did. Yeah.
I honestly never thought I would make it to 300. So the fact that I'm talking about my 300th episode and the amazing guests that we've had on the show and some of the amazing games that we've covered. We've covered hundreds of games on this show.
Yeah.
Literal hundreds of games. Like, we did 8 this show. 8.
Yeah.
In this one show.
You do like hundreds of games a month sometimes.
Like, and to think, like, the whole move into reviewing stuff just kind of started out of nowhere. Like, I saw someone streaming a game. I'm like, oh, wow, how'd you get this early? He's like, oh, I just emailed the developer. I'm like, you can do that? And even crazier is when I first started the show, I don't know how many people have been here for long, but I started on a website called The Gaming Vault, which I started writing for that site mainly as I started doing Rock Band stuff, like posting Rock Band updates, and it led to me doing news updates, and then a handful of reviews here and there for the site. Not many, because they were kind of shitty, but that led to me doing a podcast with some friends, Tim and Bogue, if anyone listened that far back. Kris ended up coming in fairly early. Bogue ended up leaving. Me, Tim, and Kris kept going with it for a while. Tim ended up giving up, and then Pappy came in, and then Kris wanted to quit the show, so we just figured we would stop the show. After a few months, he went through some personal stuff, and we ended up picking the show back up, and that's kind of when the show changed from a couple of guys bullshitting about games to like doing news, reviews, interviews, and becoming more of a legitimate show. The second site that we were on after the Gaming Vault was a site I helped co-found called Save Continue. And I ended up leaving that site because, believe it or not, the editor-in-chief of that site was an asshole who, after I attempted to contact a developer to see if I could review one of their games for Save Continue, he told the developers that I was a code beggar who just wanted free games.
Yeah, I remember this story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So him calling me a code beggar led to me quitting the site, and I think I'm doing pretty fucking good for a code beggar, huh, Kyle? You asshole. So I'm very proud of what my show has become over the past 4.5 years. 300 episodes. I want to thank you, CJ, for being a part of this show now. Cole for coming on doing reviews and being a bigger part of the show. Purnell, Kris, Wood. Thanks to Kris for trying to make time whenever he can to still be a part of this show in any way he can. And thanks to the older hosts who just kind of gave up on the show after a while. Bogue, Tim, Rez, Ian, and Pappy. I don't really talk to Pappy anymore, but he was a big part of the show for a while. So
yeah, I remember listening back when that was the case.
I can't ignore all the contributions that he has made to this show. But yes, thank you to everyone who has been a part of this show in any way, or anybody who has listened to one episode, or if you're stupid enough to listen to all 300. Why? First off. And thanks to everyone hanging out in the chat, just killing time with me on Thursday nights or whatever other day, and just killing time and hanging out. So I guess the final words before we take a break and come back with the interview is thank you.
Warm, fuzzy feelings.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking around with us on this monster 300th episode. I'm joined by two fantastic guests right now. Calling in from the UK, we have Tom Wimbush and Luke Borrett of Mediatonic on the show. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty fantastic. It's a nice sunny day over here in England, which happens, I think, once every 300 years, so we're sort of enjoying it.
Well, it was after rain. Nice grey, rainy London day. So, wouldn't be a day in London without that. But yeah, we're good. We are very good. Thank you.
So, Luke and Tom, you are from Mediatonic. You are working with Flaming Fowl and creating Fable Fortune. For the people who don't know what Fable Fortune is, give us the sales pitch. Give us the rundown.
Sure. So the world of Fable is a really, really fun one to be in. We were working on this game with Lionhead before they went under. And unfortunately, when the news hit, we were as devastated as anyone. But a few people left Lionhead to form up Flaming Fowl Studios. And they've been our partner to ensure Fable Fortune was still going to come out. It's a card game set in the world of Albion, all about the morality system with some interesting quirks and familiar Fable faces. But mechanically, we had some really interesting things we wanted to bring to the table. Tom, do you want to go into a little bit of detail about that?
Yeah, so I mean, the morality system is really one of our key kind of features. So when you are in a game, you are embarking on quests, kind of RPG style, that you have to complete. And when you complete them, you not only get a sick reward, like in the game, but you also get the choice of whether to go good or evil, which affects your strategy as you're playing through. So it gives you the chance to adapt during the match to kind of the state of the game and what your opponent is trying to do. And then we've got some other features that I'm sure we'll delve into as we go.
Yeah, and of course, it's very leading into the haunts and halos of Fable. Like one of our characters, Barter the Merchant, if you go evil, he goes full pirate. If you go good, he goes benevolent missionary. So we have a lot of fun visually tying it into the mechanics.
Yeah, I've noticed while playing that going through the cards that I have, I'll see some that have like a blue border or a red border. So I guess that's the good and the evil sides there.
Yeah. So those will be your morality cards. So we have a bunch of cards in the game that start off as neutral, but when you go good or evil, those cards will kind of shift to match the alignment that you've chosen. So, for example, we have a bank clerk, just an everyday bank teller. But if you go evil, he becomes a shifty inside trader that reduces the cost of all the cards in your hand. And if you become good, he spends all of that extra money that he's got to become a philanthropist and kind of showers buffs down on the people. So again, it kind of plays into that ability to really shift what you're doing during the game to adapt to what your opponent's doing, what you're planning to do, what your deck is good at, what your opponent's deck is good at.
And in true Fable style, it varies a lot. We go from pirates, bank clerks, pigs, living trees, all sorts, but it all gets a little bit weird. We have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah, I've noticed a handful of just flat out goofy cards in the bunch as well. So that traditional Fable sense of humor is definitely running well through the game.
Oh yeah, I don't think it would be Fable without that. I mean, it's a cool fantasy world, but you need your comedy hobs and your weird peasants with West Country accents and everything like that. I mean, it's what we know and love about the series.
You mentioned peasants. I've been using the knight deck quite a bit. I got comfortable with that one, and peasants just seem to run that joint. Like I take great pleasure when I have like 1/1 peasants out, and I use those guys to deal the killing blow to someone.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the character concepts that we had a lot of fun with quite early on during the development, because we were asking ourselves, it's a Fable game. We want recognizable kind of archetypes from the fantasy universe, right? But you need to subvert them because it's Fable. You can't just have the straight knight in shining armor, right? So Marshall, who's our knight character, as you were alluding to, basically runs a army made up of peasants and pigs. Which, feels like he'd fit right at home in the West Country sort of world of Fable. And it's a real hodgepodge of sort of farmyard animals and or helpers, which you use to take down your opponent, which feels pretty funny to us.
Yeah, it's it was always going to be a pig farmer leading the Grand Revolution, the People's Revolt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always good dealing a killing blow with, I mentioned the peasants, or like a fancy cat. I love that that's a card in the game. Is just fancy cat, and it's just a prim and proper cat. I'm sure you could tell by my Skype icon that you guys are seeing that I'm a cat person. I have a herd of them here, so it's always fun attacking with a cat and like killing a giant beast or a giant monster when they only have 1 or 2 health left, and just little kitten scratches at your face and kills you.
So you need to get to the next level. There will be a crazy cat lady card who summons more cats. So you got to have a whole deck around this, I think. There will be. Is it out in the game yet, Tom?
No, that's one of the ones that there's a sneak peek of something that's going to be coming down the line.
Yeah, something we've toyed around with events for.
Wow, that is you need to like go a step above, and instead of a crazy cat lady, like still have it called Crazy Cat Lady, but have like someone who looks like me, like bald, beard, just the complete, like the 21st century Crazy Cat Lady. That's just a goofy looking guy who owns way too many cats. I mean, my wife is a crazy cat lady too, but I am a self-confessed crazy cat person, I guess. Yeah, I have problems.
We have a pretty strong crazy cat contingent over at Mediatonic, so I think you're in pretty good company.
Oh yeah, I head up that faction, so welcome.
Well, how many do you got? How crazy are you?
So I am going to get 2 later this year, but throughout my life I've always had 2. So I cat sit for my brother frequently because apparently I'm a sucker who will go for these sort of things, so let him take lots of holiday.
What's the record at Mediatonic? Who has the most?
I'm not sure actually if I've got a head count on everyone's cats. I know that my girlfriend's parents have 4, which is like a pretty solid amount of cats.
That's a pretty good number. Yeah, that's a pretty solid number.
Yeah, they basically run that entire household, so they've sort of taken over, and the humans are basically there to serve every whim.
I still win the battle, though. I've got 8 of them over here, so I am the craziest of the crazy.
You are significantly more crazy than me, sir. I tip my hat to you.
But again, I must stress that I am married, so I'm not that lonely. So we've talked a lot about the Fable universe and the fact that you guys previously worked with Lionhead. When Lionhead was shut down, how did it work out that Flaming Fowl was able to keep the Fable license, and this wasn't just some unknown generic card game then?
So I can't speak in full detail as to that. You'd have to ask the Flaming Fowl guys, because they went through a trial by fire to do all this stuff, but to my knowledge, they were championing the game that we had made so far around within Microsoft. And there were so many people who were really impressed with it as a game and as a bastion of the Fable license that they wanted to get it out there and see what people thought of it. So again, these Flaming Fowl folk are Lionhead veterans. So they've been behind some of the big titles. They've been around for a really long time in that company, and I don't want to speak as to their achievements per se, but they are some really impressive people. Craig Oman, Mike West, Marcus, they're all really, really good people to work with, and we were glad to keep them on as partners after the unfortunate news broke around Lionhead.
So I'm guessing all of that stuff was handled by Flaming Fowl guys?
Yeah, we helped out with it, to my knowledge, but that's not really me or Tom. So a lot of contracts and business talk was going on, but the end result is that there's a Fable game. We're really proud of it, and Microsoft were kind enough to let us work with the license.
Were you guys worried that this might see the same fate as Fable Legends?
I mean, that is a concern on every game you ever make. You stop and take a step back and look at it and worry. It's like, oh my God, is this thing I'm making only held together with spiders, webs, and magic? But eventually video games come right. Like, you always manage to pull it together in a way that's pretty satisfying at the end. And now our game is out there and real people are playing it. It feels real, it feels satisfying, and it's something I think the whole team's really proud of.
Indeed. You mentioned Spiderweb and Magic. Is that a card in the game?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Furiously taking notes on Crazy Catman and Spiders, Webs, and Magic spell.
I'm photoshopping a card like right now, so
I'm very much looking forward to those cards. So I know the game was in closed beta for quite a while. How long was that in closed beta?
We kicked off in earnest. We had a very early build of the game out there late last year, but it would have been about March this year that a proper closed beta commenced.
And the game is now in early access or Xbox Game Preview. What is the difference in your eyes from going from the closed beta to now the Game Preview early access?
So the first thing and most important is that seeing people actually playing the game in a very small amount allowed us to realistically see how it was all coming together and rebalance some things. And now that I think we've got a base we are happy with and we know we're never going to reset the game again, that's when we're ready to open the door to more people. And Tom can speak a little bit more to the design focus of it.
Yeah, I mean, during the closed beta, we're basically really interested in getting a lot of feedback on the kind of core elements of the game. So how each of the heroes work, a lot of the cards, like in particular the kind of neutral cards, we got a lot of feedback around those. The way that the deck building screen looks and feels, the way that the other major menus in the game kind of look and feel. So when we're in closed beta, we're looking at collating all that feedback so that we can make kind of surgical changes to the areas that people are feeding back on the most and the changes that they kind of want to see. But once we've got that down, I think that, as Luke was saying, that was when we kind of made the decision to push to early access, where now we're looking at more kind of polish and improvements rather than kind of changes to what we consider core areas of the game.
It's also important to note that fine-tuning the experience on Xbox took a lot of work compared to just having the Windows 10 and Steam version. So we wanted to wait until it was performing to a level we were happy with before people got hands-on with that version.
No, I hear you. Yeah, I first started playing it with the Steam release, and then when the Xbox version was ready to go, I switched over that, and I did notice it feels significantly different on the Xbox, but it plays really well. It's not complicated. It's fairly easy to navigate around everything. I think the only real issue that I've noticed with what's there so far is when you're unpacking the packs of cards, and sometimes the cursor that's highlighting the card just seems to disappear every now and then.
Yeah, that's a known issue that we've got logged, and we'll be looking to address that in an upcoming build.
Yeah, we've been pretty reactive to pretty new information to us, but yeah, everything around card pack opening and crafting is an area we definitely want to streamline in the future.
Yeah, and it's good that you mentioned your kind of experience in playing the game on Xbox, because that's something, as Luke was saying, that's an area that we spent a lot of time iterating on whilst the Steam users were playing in the closed beta. We were going through a ton of iterations on how the game was going to look and feel and how you were going to be able to navigate around the different screens on Xbox, because Xbox is the home of the Fable fans, right? That's one of the big markets that we want to hit. We want to make sure that those people are really happy with the game and how it's feeling, and make sure that they're having a good time whilst they're playing it. So I'm really glad that that's worked out for you.
And it's also surprising because you think a port from PC to console is going to feel that different, but I think it's amazing how different navigating this game with a controller to a mouse feels. Some people vastly prefer it, so you want both experiences to feel like the full thing.
Yeah, I was very surprised at how well it played with the controller, and some of the options that you just map to buttons instead of having to highlight and go to. So very well done so far.
Oh, thank you. Very kind of you to say so.
So, what kind of changes have been made so far from the closed beta compared to what it is now?
Well, I would be here for a long time if I list all the changes.
Okay, the bigger ones, the important stuff. Yeah.
I think the biggest, if we had to go for the absolute biggest, would be the overhaul that we did to the card collection. So we basically took on a ton of feedback around players wanting to be able to build their decks more quickly and more easily, and also have more kind of nuanced functionality so that they could more quickly find the cards that they wanted to put into those decks. So we spent a ton of time basically refitting the UI so that you could see a fuller list of all the cards in your decks. You could add them to your deck more quickly. We built in a really responsive search bar in the card collection, so that you can quickly navigate to just your hobs or find the giant chicken or the important stuff, right? So I think that's one of the areas where we saw the most success. We did also overhaul the card pack opening sequence to feel way more satisfying, give you much more useful information on, this card is of this rarity and it belongs to this hero and you've never gotten this card before, so that's an extra exciting moment for you, because cards are the lifeblood of the game, right? And getting new cards should be the most exciting that we can offer to you. So we spend a lot of time, again, iterating on that process, getting some internal feedback, showing it to people. And I think that's feeling really good right now. There's also a ton of balance changes. We made big changes to many of the heroes through that process. We did a big performance overhaul. We gained something like 60% performance increase in certain areas of the game.
Yep. And on top of that, there were areas which weren't necessarily performance, but animation-driven, in terms of one spell would play out and people would have to wait a long time before their next input. We just tried to speed it all up across the board, make it feel like a more streamlined play experience.
That makes sense. You never want to have a game where people are like, come on. Just thinking back to Knights of the Round from Final Fantasy VII, and how you could just cast that and then just go make a sandwich and hit the bathroom, come back, and it's still going.
I mean, the real trick with that, if you had the time to burn, was to put quad magic on as well, and it would just cast 4 times, go make coffee,
and then
college, have a family.
What was it, someone had the copy ability where they would just copy what the previous person did?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, 8 times there, yeah. So yeah, I mean, in all honesty, we're really happy with the changes we made between the beta and where the game is now. I think we still feel like we have a lot of work to do, and we know areas we want to concentrate on. But the great thing about game preview and early access is we've got all these surprisingly civil voices from everyone telling us what they would like to see in the game, and I think that's going to help shape our future a little bit, because we have co-op bosses. If people want to see more of those, maybe that's going to be the focus in the future. If PvP is the real hit, then maybe we'll focus on more heroes. We've got more environments and quests queued up at the moment, so we've got a lot of things that we want to do with the game, and it's really exciting to be in the position where now we're seeing what people are responding to.
You mentioned that you've had a lot of civil voices with feedback so far. What are some of the least civil responses and replies that you've gotten to date?
So I'm not going to name any names because
you could keep them anonymous, but I want to hear the juicy stuff.
So I got an email because my contact details are out there for people who want to get in contact about the game. It was mostly in capitals, which is always a good start. And it was talking about how we've murdered the Fable franchise and we should stop development immediately, and all that fun stuff. And I didn't respond. The temptation was to respond to him and go, "My God, you're right. We're pulling the plug immediately." Yeah, I think voices like that are driven by enthusiasm, and they don't necessarily get the intricacies that go into making a game. So I can sympathize with the passion that's there, but sometimes you just got to filter that stuff out a little bit, be a little bit sensible. But like I say, that is the vast minority. So far, people have had very civil discourse about what they want to see in the game or what they'd like to see improved. It's been really nice.
I'm sure a lot of those suggestions match things that you guys are planning. What is at the top of the list for you guys to implement into the game?
Sure. So the big feature that we're kind of working on immediately is the addition of daily bounties, which are like small objectives that when you log into the game, it will give you a choice of, hey, do you want to take on this challenge or this challenge? And if you then go into the game and complete that objective, it will give you a bunch of silver, maybe even a card pack, like if you complete one that's sufficiently difficult. Because we feel like at the moment, so we do have a system in the game at the moment which rewards you every time that you log in with a bunch of silver that you can put towards card packs. But we really think that you're missing that extra push to go and get engaged, right? Because if I log into the game and I just get given stuff straight away, I might not feel like I want to jump into a match straight away. But if I'm given the option of, hey, if you go and complete 5 games, we're going to give you, half a card pack's worth of silver or something, like, yeah, you bet your ass I'm going to jump straight into a game and start playing. So that's definitely one of the big things. We're also adding a few other features, such as mass salvaging. So at the moment, salvaging is kind of a pain in the game. It takes quite a long time to go through your collection and salvage all of your duplicate cards, especially once you've opened a ton of card packs. So we're adding a feature so that you can just press a button and automatically salvage like any excess copies of cards that you have and get that ink back that you can then use to craft other cards that you really want.
And the other big one, which we've seen a lot of demand for, and we always knew we were going to, but we wanted to get it just right across the mixed platforms, but friend invites, so people can jump into co-op with their buddies, because that's super important, I think.
I was just about to ask that, because No Pulse hanging out in our chat said that he wants to do more of the co-op stuff, but he doesn't really have anyone to play with. And I was going to ask if teaming up with a friend is something that might be coming to it.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's something that we've been working on for a while. It's not like we've only just now started working on it, but there was some extra complexity in basically getting that feature up and running across all of the different platforms, because they have all of their own requirements and their kind of idiosyncrasies that we need to deal with. But yeah, that is actively in the works. We've got people fixing bugs and putting stuff in for that right now. So
yeah, and also, the whole time we've been keeping an eye on just bugs that are cropping up in the game. So whenever the next update does drop, it'll bring a whole lot of quality of life and just general improvements with it. So we're hoping to stay very active with the game, keep up a good cadence of updates, because I think that's what early access and game preview is all about. Iteration and getting it just right before you're ready to move on.
Indeed, very much so. What form of crossplay is in the game? I'm going to assume that Xbox and Windows 10 can play together. Where does Steam fit in with all of that?
So we actually pull from a matchmaking pool across all platforms. So when you go into PvP or co-op and you press a button to join a random game, anyone from any platform could be your partner. That's where some of the complexities Tom was talking about with friend invites come in, because we need those systems talking to each other where they can. So yeah, matchmaking uses everyone from every pool to begin with, but when it comes on to friends invites, it's going to restrict it down a little bit while we figure out some back-end stuff. But whenever you see someone with a generic name, they're usually from one of the other platforms.
Because No Pulse in chat was mentioning that he had a match against a player 2, but it wasn't a gamer tag player 2, so I'm guessing that was just some random person from a different platform?
Yes, yeah, that would be one of them.
That's right. That is something we're looking into as one of the commonly requested features to look at as well around friend invites, because you want to know who you're up against, really. Very
true. Do you think it's possible to eventually get to a point where someone on, say, the Xbox One can send a specific invite to somebody on Steam, or is like the backdoor negotiating between Microsoft and Valve a bit too complicated for something like that?
Well, it's complicated and dicey, but there are solutions, and we don't know exactly what to do yet, but it's still something we're looking into. So can't guarantee anything yet, but it is definitely something we're actively pursuing this end.
Could it be something like Minecraft? Isn't when Minecraft goes cross-platform between basically everything but PlayStation, isn't, like, even on the Switch they're going to have people log into their Xbox account or their Microsoft account. Is that something that you can enable in this game for Steam users?
There's a fair bit of back-end work involved to get something like that working, and there's quite a few hurdles to overcome, but some games do it very well, and some do it just enough. So I think we just need to find out what we want to do with it, but we have been looking at things like Minecraft, Rocket League, Street Fighter V. The thing is not only having a smooth experience for the user and the least complicated journey possible, but also little quality of life things like how is the name surface for a user for something like Steam, where a user can actually change their name to whatever. There's a lot of things to consider, and some people have done it really well, and we hope to be one of them in the future.
I know you mentioned Rocket League as well. That's another game coming out later this year that's going to feature, which still blows my mind, crossplay between Xbox, PC, and Nintendo. Is there anything preventing this game from showing up on the Switch? Is that anything Microsoft could just be like, hell no, that's not happening? Or do you think they might be open to that?
I couldn't say for sure. I don't think, historically looking at Microsoft's IPs, I don't think they'd be keen on it going to any of the other platforms, but they were kind enough to let us do it on Steam, so who knows? I can't comment one way or the other, but, exciting to get it to more people one way or the other.
I don't know. To me, it seems like Microsoft has been pretty cool with Nintendo, especially with Minecraft and creating the Mario mashup pack over there. The fact that Switch players are going to be able to play with Xbox players. If Microsoft was cool with it, do you think putting this game on the Switch would be something you'd be interested in doing?
I don't know for sure. I personally would be very excited by it as someone who owns and plays a lot of Switch, but I'd have to see how scared our developers look if we said something like that. But before we get to any of that, there's the thing of, will Microsoft let us do it? So there's conversations to be had before we could even start thinking about that. But right now, we just want to get the Xbox and PC versions singing.
Very true. I'm thinking forward because I love my Switch, and I know one of our old co-hosts just got a Switch that we talked about earlier in the show. And he's talking about like getting unlimited data with his phone plan because he goes on tour with his band a lot, and he'll just like play Rocket League on the go. And I'm sure he would love to get this sometime. Is this something that might also be coming to mobile devices?
Again, it's always on the table, but we just have a lot of conversations to have before we hit that point. So first, we got to get the game singing on the platforms. It's not even technically released on when you look at early access and game preview, so we don't want to jump the gun there, but it's something we've thought about.
Sounds good. I'm very excited for wherever the game is going to go. I've been having a lot of fun with it so far. You mentioned again the early access and the game preview. How long are you guys anticipating the game being in game preview?
So ideal, we'd be looking at a couple of months, but like I say, we really want to see how people respond to see what we're going to focus on, because there are definitely, in our minds, there are things that need to happen before the game can go full release. But, if that's the things people want or not remains to be seen. So we're going to take a little bit more time, digest how people are playing the game, see where we're going with our immediate next couple of updates.
Sounds good. What needs to happen?
I think that, we were talking earlier about all the civil discourse that we're getting, which is really useful feedback from players, right? And they're hitting on a lot of the things that we really want to see. So not only do we want to do the updates we were talking about earlier with friend invites and salvage and daily bounties and that sort of thing, but we're also looking at, we want a tutorial in the game, like a fully fledged tutorial that will let people kind of engage and learn how to play. Plus some of the other things on our dev roadmap. If you've taken a look across that way, we've got a big list on our website of all the features that we're kind of looking to get into the game, on what stage of development they're in.
Just for the record, that's www.fable-fortune.com, but doing it without the hyphen will redirect you there.
Yeah. So looking at a tutorial, some kind of single player engagement, because we know that there are a lot of really rich stories to tell in the Fable universe, and we'd like to kind of dabble in some of that and give players who maybe don't want to jump into multiplayer straight away, like an avenue to engage with the game and learn the ropes and earn some cool content, that sort of thing.
Also, as a Fable game, we put a lot of thought into the backstory of our heroes, but what you see at the moment is quite bare bones other than the card artwork and the stories there. So we'd love a chance to explore that further. I mean, there's all sorts of ideas and enthusiasm in the studio for things to build out, but we just got to figure out where we're going to focus, what's going to be realistic, and ultimately, what you ask, what needs to happen before we leave game preview and early access, just a bunch of platform compliance and things like that is the bare minimum of what we need. But we don't want to do what we need. We want to build a great game, so we got to do all that and more. We've got a kitchen sink approach to how we are approaching this game.
That's a good way to approach it. I know you mentioned the tutorial. How far away do you think that is? Because I can definitely agree that feels quite needed. It's a very overwhelming game when you first get into it, but once it clicks, it just works great.
Yeah, I mean, that's, all card games kind of function that way, right? Like, there's a lot of overhead in terms of the rules that you're given, and same with any board game that you sit down to play. Like, the first kind of 5 minutes of it maybe seem a bit overwhelming, like you said, but once you get it, it's in. Tutorial's interesting. Like, we've had a lot of feedback that, this should be there, and we agree with you guys, right? But it's actually technically one of the most difficult things to implement in a game, which is something that maybe people who don't work in the industry realize is that you have to do a lot of extra work to get that up and running. So it is something that we're actively working on. We've done a lot of design work on it already, but the implementation is complicated. So
we did originally have one when we were originally going to go to closed beta, but the call came in. We weren't happy with it. We need to do something better, and we went back to the drawing board with it, because if we're going to do a tutorial, we're going to do it right. So we want one in that not only is basically telling you how to play, but so that it's actually very welcoming to people who are very familiar with card games or not. They can pick it up, they can enjoy it for what it is. I think part of that is going to go hand in hand with some of the other features we're looking at. So yeah, it's very high on our agenda, but like I say, this is the downside to the kitchen sink approach. We want to do everything. We want the game to sing. We'll get there eventually, but more news to come on tutorial soon, I hope.
No Pulse in the chat says the tutorial. Download Hearthstone, do the tutorial, and then come back and play a better game.
It's a fair point. That guy's he's right on the pulse there.
That guy's all right.
So shots fired at Hearthstone with that one. Are you guys considering doing a full-on campaign to the game? Because as much as I enjoy doing the co-op online, and I've dipped my toe into the PvP, I'm just scared about getting my ass absolutely handed to me. I've done a lot of the training. I enjoy just doing the one-on-one offline stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely some of the feedback that we've been hearing, which has been really good to us, because that's one of those things that before we released, we're all intimately familiar with the game, right? We've been playing it for years. So we weren't sure of the kind of value that would have to the players. But second we get it out there, we get a lot of people coming back to us with I really want a single player mode, I really want to be able to engage, take down kind of Fable bosses just on my own when I've got some downtime and I feel a bit intimidated by the PvP. So yeah, doing some really deep, funny, very Fable feeling single player content is definitely something that we're interested in.
Yeah, and like Tom says, he said before that it's something that we want to drive more for getting people to try the different characters and things like that, but it also gives us a lot more options for training. You don't fight any of the heroes that are in the game, but you fight the guild master, so it's proper hero training from a familiar Fable face. And similarly, if we did a campaign, we get to do a little bit more with some of the familiar faces that are in there as cards, your Reavers, your Jack of Blades, things like that. So it's a fun world to work with. There's some really interesting characters and interesting possibilities for a single player when we start looking in that direction.
Are there any characters that you haven't had a chance to work into the game yet?
Yeah, there definitely are. You're talking about like established Fable characters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to tip our hand too much there, but there are definitely some big names from the Fableverse that are on the cards.
You asshole.
That's fair.
Yeah, he does. He thoroughly deserves. But yeah,
I love terrible puns, so bring them on. I love them.
We need to introduce you to our designer Tony. But no, seriously, we've got a huge backlog of things we want to add to the game as cards, and these range from spells and new characters to known Fable characters. I won't give you a list or anything, but I will say one I've seen the community ask for a lot, and one that is definitely going to be on the way is Hammer from Fable 2. So a lot of familiar faces still to come.
How big do you anticipate the card library to get? Because as of now, I don't remember the exact count, but I want to say it's somewhere hovering around the metric fuck ton of cards in the game. Like there's a lot of cards in here already.
It's a good ballpark metric fuck ton, I feel. I mean, it was floating around on a few design docs for sure. But yeah, what have we got around at the moment in the game now, Tom?
300 and something, somewhere around there. There's a big number. Plus there are the fancy collectible versions that have their animated card frames and stuff, which we really like. I mean, in terms of how big can the card library get, like how many people out there want a load of cards, right? Like if we're able to serve a load of people who are really hungry for new cards and new content in the game, then sky's the limit, basically. Like the design team here, we're all big time CCG players. We've played all the big CCGs out there. We have a ton of ideas on where we could take the card pool and what new mechanics we could add, what new characters we could add. Plus the Flaming Foul guys have got a big list of like characters that they want to introduce from the Fable universe and that sort of thing. So including some new stuff that they're tinkering with, like new content from Albion. So basically sky's the limit.
Yeah, and this is something that can go in several different directions as well, because we have cards that are specifically associated with our heroes. So if we introduce new heroes, that's a big boost to the amount of cards. There's neutrals, which anyone can have, which lets us get in some of the more crazy cards like Chesty and the Demon Door. But on top of that, there's always co-op bosses. We're interested in getting more of them, and they always have a theme and give rewards along that line. So, you know, like Tom says, sky's the limit, but not only do we want to add a lot of cards, we want to touch on a lot of different thematic areas. So, yeah, fingers crossed that people are hungry for it.
No Pulse is asking something I was about to get to. He said, when I was opening card packs, I wish there was a better indicator telling you if the card you got was rare, exotic, etc., instead of just colors, because without a tutorial or anything, there's nothing that tells me how cool the card is. So what is the tier ranking for cards? I'm guessing like blue and green are the common and uncommon. And then I'm guessing the yellow/gold is like the absolute top tier.
So we actually have 6, I guess, if you include basic cards, rarities. So you have white cards, which are basic, which are the cards that everyone starts off with in their collection and kind of allows you to get a foothold into the game and start picking cards up. Then you have commons, which are cards that we feel are important for a lot of players to have in their decks. After that, you've got blue cards, which are rare, which we feel like, again, are quite important, but a little bit more powerful perhaps than common cards, or certainly do some weirder things. Epics are purple, which is where you start getting into some of the more kind of keystone cards for the classes. So if you look across at the Merchant, for example, you have Horn of the Deep, which is the powerful ability to silence and destroy all of the units that are currently on the battlefield. That's a good example of an epic card, which does something pretty potent. Then you've got mythic cards, which are orange, and these are where you start getting to like weird cards, right? Like the kind of cards that you want to build a whole deck around because the effect is very powerful. For example, the Veteran Battler, I know you were talking about Knight earlier. The Veteran Battler is a card that buffs any units that come into play that have 1 strength, which includes like all of your peasants, plus a bunch of other cards in the game, like Scarecrow, other tokens that get generated by the units, that sort of thing. And if you get those mythic cards into your deck, like that's where you start getting the really fun and interesting synergies coming out. And then finally, the top tier rarity are the Fabled cards. You know, we wanted to bring the Fabled brand into the card rarities. And these are the standout cards that you can only have 1 copy of in your deck. They are the really memorable Fable characters, right? They are your Guildmasters, your Chesties, your Demon Doors, your Hero of Oak Vales, those sorts of guys. And they represent not only incredibly powerful effects, but also some very unique and interesting ones. For example, Nostro, who's one of our co-op bosses, his card is a Fabled card that when other units come into play, those units are immediately destroyed and then summoned again. So if you play any cards that have abilities which trigger when a card dies, if you play them when Nostro is on the field, they get to die, trigger their ability, get resummoned again, and then they can die again and be brought back. And you get some pretty crazy, awesome combos going off with those cards.
Oh, wow.
So that's basically the breakdown of how the rarities work. We agree with you that the messaging there could be a little bit better. We did put a lot of time into the VFX on those screens to try and communicate that, you know, when you turn over a Fabled card, which is red, there's a huge explosion, there's screen shake, like that's a really cool moment. But yeah, like perhaps an audio cue or something like that. That's one of the things that we have been looking into and would be interested in adding. But we're hard in on getting friend invites and stuff working at the moment. So that sort of quality of life change, we're definitely interested in, but we'll have to prioritize it against other work that's going on.
I saw a guy streaming the game last night, and he opened a pack, and he had 2 of the gold card or the orange cards in there, and I'm like, I hate you. I think out of the 30 packs I got, I think I had like 5 total, and in one pack he had 2 orange, a purple, a blue, and then just a regular. I hate this guy.
Yeah, I mean, we've got one guy on our dev team, Fabio, who is basically blessed. So we give him like stuff to test. We'll give him a brand new fresh account, and you get 10 new card packs, right, on a fresh account, plus 1 guaranteed Fable card. And he'll bust open 10 packs and get 6 Fables out of it, including a fancy one, which are incredibly rare.
Wow.
And he will do this consistently. So I don't know what he's doing to the server, but it's pretty good.
I tell you what he's done, and that's steal luck from at least half the rest of the dev team. So don't know how he does it, but bless him, he's going to do it anyway.
He is a luck vampire.
Can he like sneak me a couple of those extra good cards?
We'll get him on this Skype call. It'll just be like a lucky tussle of the hair, and they'll pass it on.
You mentioned the fancy cards. What is the difference between a standard card and the fancy variant?
Cool. So the fancy cards are cards that we spend quite a lot of time on working on how they look and feel. They're basically, for anyone that's played a kind of traditional card game, they're kind of the shinies, right? The foil cards. So when you bust open a fancy card out of a card pack, there are a few key differences. So for a start, you'll notice that it's got more of a 3D kind of look and feel. It feels more like weighty and like a 3D object. It's also got a fully animated card frame. So it's got particle effects that play around it. It's got animated elements like leaves or flowers that kind of bloom on them. Plus, there's also kind of a whole bunch of VFX which shimmer over the card and kind of give it that really premium, like mystical feel to it. Plus, after you play it onto the board, for anyone who's not seen the game, we play in kind of a 3D environment that feels like an actual slice of Albion that you're playing in. And the cards themselves like manifest themselves as sort of almost chess pieces when they're on the board. They kind of slot into these little 3D pedestals, and the fancy versions basically have super fancy looking pedestals that kind of look like they've been carved out of crystal, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, and it's just something we want people to feel is really cool and special, whether you are opening a random card pack and you get a shiny Jack of Blades, or say for your deck, you're like, all right, here it goes. I'm going to spend all my crafting currency to make 2 shiny cats, and that's your that's your thing, that's your signature. Then, it lets people have fun with the cards they really like.
I really do have to work on making my own deck. I've just been using the pre-made ones, and last night I figured I would go in and try putting my own together, and I just felt so overwhelmed with how many cards I had, how many I would have to go through and read, and it was kind of overwhelming. Have you guys looked into any ways of like an auto deck builder or some kind of some way to like guide you through creating a decent deck?
Yeah, we definitely, that's another one of the things on our radar that we knew that we wanted to do even heading into this phase, right? Because we feel like that's one of the biggest pain points in a lot of CCGs, is that you get to the point where you're familiar enough with the game and the game mechanics to start playing, but you are basically intimidated by the size of your card collection and you're not really familiar with deck building and the kind of principles that are involved there, right? So one of the things that we're interested in doing is basically building, like you say, a deck helper feature where you can either use kind of pre-existing deck lists from other players, or you can get kind of a helping hand when you're putting your deck together. Like, we're exploring a few different options there, but it's definitely one of the things that we want to do.
That sounds good. Yeah, I definitely know the pain of trying to create decks. In my high school days, I was way too deep in Magic the Gathering, and just having a shoebox full of cards, and you're like, I'm gonna make a red-black deck, and you sit down and you look at all your cards and like, fuck that, I'll do that another day.
Well, as someone who early on in the project was terrible at our game, I will say you learn a little bit about deck building by just throwing together any old crap and just seeing how it works.
Yeah.
What's the saying? Throw shit at a wall and see what sticks?
That's perfect. That is pretty much my attitude to learning the game.
Luke's done a lot of throwing shit around.
And in the game.
And in the game.
That's a feature you could put into the game. Just make it so you have a digital stack of cards and you just throw them virtually at a wall, and it gives you a couple of like building blocks to build a deck around.
Now I know you'd be looking at my notes.
Hey, great minds think alike. What are you going to do? So, what are some of your favorite cards in the game?
Well, a favourite for both of us is a little old card called the Replicating Shard, which when you hear that, you think, like, how exciting can a shard be? It's, pretty unglamorous on paper, but it's from Fable, a lot of the Old Kingdom artifacts, so these weird sort of machinery-looking things, these very alien obsidian glyphs and things like that. So, Replicating Shard is the epitome of that, and it is a card for the Prophet, and every time it's healed and gains health back, it summons a duplicate of itself on the board. It's just a very humble card that's an office favourite, I think, and one for me personally is the Sentinel, which was from Fable 3. It's a cool card in terms of its mechanics, but I'm just really fond of the artwork for that card. It's bringing back one of the best designs of Fable 3 in a really appealing way. How about you, Tom?
Well, Luke completely stole my favourite with the Replicating Shard, because we've had many a game where everyone's just quietly beavering away on whatever it is that they're doing, and then someone will be like, look at all these shards everywhere, and there's just a board full of replicating shards facing down another board full of replicating shards, and they don't even have enough attack to kill each other, so they just sort of ineffectually bounce around, not really doing much of anything. Just pretty great. I think one of my favorites is the Yellow Belly Hob, which is one of our mythic cards. And basically, hobs are all about they have powerful big entrance abilities, which are abilities which fire when you play the card. And there are lots of hobs which empower you to return hobs that you've already played to your hand so that you can play them again. And the Yellow Belly Hob basically says, whenever you play another hob, return this hob to your hand. So you have hobs like the Hob Bomber, who's just sat on the board, and he says whenever you play a hob, like throw a bomb at your opponent, right? So you can get into situations where you have Hob Bombers on the board, and then you have 2 yellow belly hobs in your hand. You play the first yellow belly hob, it goes onto the board, your bombers throw a bomb. You play the second yellow belly hob, the first yellow belly hob comes back, your bombers throw some more bombs. So you basically chain these yellow belly hobs back and forth from the board to your hand infinitely and do a whole bunch of bomb chucking at your opponent.
Oh man, that is brutal.
Yeah, which the first time someone had it done to them, they were very upset.
So that's the more design-driven answer for sure. I will say that we're super proud of the artwork for all the cards. I'd give you a laundry list of favorites if you had another hour to chat, but yeah.
I have the hour. I don't think you guys do.
No, we got to wrap up soon. But,
man, what you said? A lot of good artists. Who? Any big names do artwork for the game?
So primarily, it's been our in-house artists and some select partners. We've had some artwork contributed by Mike McCarthy, who's a familiar name to a lot of Fable fans, but Amy Pearson and Gregor Kari are our 2 in-house artists, and I think what they've done is just phenomenal.
Nice. Yeah, it's beautiful artwork in the game. Fable has always had a great sense of style, so it's good to see that style and again the humor replicated really well in Fable Fortune. Speaking of the humor, are there any kind of just absolutely off-the-wall crazy cards that they might be completely worthless when you think about it, but they're hilarious?
I mean, this definitely isn't worthless, but I think the Giant Chicken is probably the most silly card. So basically, the Giant Chicken isn't actually a giant chicken, it's a giant egg. So you play the giant egg. It's a Fable card that you get when you purchase the Founders Pack to get into early access. And the giant egg basically sits there on the board being a giant egg, not doing anything. But if you manage to keep the giant egg alive for a turn, it hatches and turns into a giant chicken, which can attack immediately and has a huge amount of health and attack power. So it can pretty much take out your opponent, if not instantly, like at a pretty fair clip. And there have been plenty of board states that I've seen where, well, this looks like it could go either way, and then the giant egg comes down, and that game is all over.
Oh, man.
And yeah, again, the beady-eyed artwork for the chicken is just incredible. It's very Avatar-friendly, I will say.
I might have to look into that one. I don't know if I got that one because technically I got one of the promotional codes to check out the game right before it launched, so I don't know if the giant chicken was included in there.
That is included with our Founders Pack, which is included with every buy-in for Xbox or Windows 10. And for the Steam version of the game, if you were in the closed beta, you won't have that automatically, but you have the chance to get the Founders Pack. And it basically gives you $40 worth of content for $15. So there's a 20% discount as well at the moment. So we're hoping it's a good way for people to get lots of card packs and start building the more interesting decks, because you know how these sort of games go. We think we know a lot of the crazy combos in the game, but until we see some of the monstrous decks people are building, we still think there's stuff to be discovered.
Yeah, I'm scared to see what kind of crazy combinations people out there could create. I do want to say one thing I enjoy about the game is it's a weird way to say this, but I enjoy how limited it can be in terms of playing, where like your money gets capped at a certain time. You can only have so many creatures on the board on your side. That way it's not like I've had Magic the Gathering games where my opponent would have like 15 creatures out and I'm sitting there with like 2 pieces of land and just getting wrecked. And I enjoy the fact that the game seems fairly balanced in that even if someone has a good number of creatures out, all it takes is 1 or 2 good cards in your hand to even things up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when we came to the game, you know, when you're designing any game, you need to ask yourself, who am I designing this for, and what's the sort of audience going to be? And we definitely wanted to keep this friendly to people who hadn't played a lot of card games before, because a lot of Fable fans out there might not necessarily have played a CCG. So we wanted to keep it nice and accessible. So we went through a lot of kind of time and effort to eliminate a lot of what you might call like analysis paralysis, which you find often in board games and card games, where you just have 50 different choices, and you can just then sit there for about 2 minutes not really knowing what it is that you want to do. So yeah, I'm glad that you picked up on that. Like we definitely tried to streamline the game as much as possible and keep it kind of friendly and just keep the game flowing, right? Because nobody particularly wants to sit there whilst your opponent thinks for 5 minutes, which is what happens frequently when you're playing a game of Magic, right? So
yeah. Yeah, some games of Magic could get pretty crazy. Completely unrelated to Fable Fortune, but I had a card in Magic called Scheherazade that forces you to stop the game and then play another one. And I did that like 3 times in one game with my friends, and they all just were like, I resign. I'm not doing this. I'm done.
I have a really funny story about that card, actually. So when we were first putting together the kind of system which drives the card logic for the game, I had our lead developer at the time kind of approach me and say, what's the craziest thing that a card could do, right? What sort of things do we need to handle? And I just like printed out a giant copy of Scheherazade and slammed it on his desk, and I was like, this is how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Then the cold sweats began.
Oh man, are you going to try putting something like that in the game?
We're going to get pretty crazy with one of our future heroes for sure. We have some pretty crazy tricks up our sleeve, but as Tom says, we don't want to tip our hand too much.
Oh, I'm eager to see what kind of screwy things you guys come up with. I know we've been talking for close to an hour now. Was there anything that you guys wanted to address that I might have missed?
Not really. I mean, we've been over it in the course of our chats here, but just a Fable Fortune out now, game preview, early access, $15, £9.99 or €12.99, and it's 20% off for at least a couple more days now. Across all the platforms that it's available on. So we hope more people check it out. And we're just really excited for people playing our game. So really, Joe, thank you so much for your enthusiasm and knowledge for the game. It's been a real pleasure talking to you.
It's been a pleasure having you guys on and being a part of SML's 300th episode. I thank you for taking the time to come on and chat with us. Please do come back sometime. To talk about Fable Fortune or older Fable game, or we'll just talk about the Connect game for an hour if you want, because everybody are you guys gonna sneak some kind of reference to the Connect game into Fable Fortune, like have a Connect card?
There are some nods to Fable the Journey in the cards that are already in there, some of the cooler stuff, I think, but yeah, some people may just think that's a cool made-up thing that I don't recognize. Other people may get the source material. So yeah, it's definitely a we will draw from, because for all you can say, that game had some interesting ideas.
Very true. Yeah, I would love to see just like a Connect card show up where you, or even like one of the last actual Magic sets that I was playing around. I would like to see you guys do a focus deck based kind of like around the unglued concept, where it's just all weird batshit crazy things.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, for that to really take off, like, we need to be a few expansions in so that we can get really self-referential. But if we get to that point, like, I am all for that. So
we will definitely check back in with you when we reach that point, I think. Thank you for your kindness.
Sounds good. That's the deck where the bearded cat lady could come in.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, so we'd love to check back in with you at a future date, and congratulations to you and to all the listeners as well for 300 episodes. That is no small achievement. So congratulations, and it's been a pleasure talking to you.
It is a lot of persistence for sure. Luke, Tom, thank you again so much for coming on to the show. Do you have any final words to end this episode?
No.
Cards. No, we're all good. Thanks. It's been real fun.